Hi, folks. Welcome back to Cannons Fired, a podcast brought to you by Brazen Coalition Games. My name is John, and this is episode 3. Today, we are pitting the top 32 Kindred decks found on EDHREC against one another to see who will be crowned the King of Kindred. But before we get into that, if you like what you're seeing, please consider dropping us a like or sub or a follow us, depending on what platform you're on, and let us know what your favorite Kindred deck is in the comments below. Before we get into all this, I must start to introduce my wonderful co-host. And the first up, I am joined by a human advisor that may or may not extort you on cast. Chrono. How are you doing, Chrono?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, John, this fine Saturday evening?
I am wonderful. I am caffeinated. I have my bottles of water, and I am ready to be told I'm wrong about all these Kindred stuff. So that's me. I'm very, very excited for this. This is actually, weirdly, folks, I think like at the start of the year when we'd not even decided if we were going to do these podcasty episodes, but me and Joe sort of went for a coffee one, like we should rate Kindred stuff, and it's just that's the entire reason we started to do this. So don't be surprised if this is the last one we ever do.
Look, I have pitched something else, so there hopefully will be at least one more.
Yeah, that's right. And we've got to talk about Spider-Man, even if we don't really want to.
Yeah.
So, anyway, speaking of Joe, next we are joined up by a cat beast who loves playing with lands a little more than the English Empire. We are joined by Joe. How are you doing, bud?
Meow. I'm well, thank you. I'm not technically a cat beast, but my picture, maybe says otherwise. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about some Kindred things.
Yeah.
Pitch them off against each other. It's going to be a good time.
This is going to be good. We have decided to look at this a different way, because it would be very easy to say, of course, dragons win. They are the most popular, and they are also 6/6 flying monstrosities. So instead, chat, we have devised a scientifically and empirical way to measure these that cannot be disputed in any way. And let me show you what that is. This is the Typal system. Yep, I spent a bit of time trying to work out how to make this into an anagram that actually makes sense. So first up, we've got T is for teamwork. So how well do the Typal decks support one another? Like, slivers are obviously very good at supporting one another. Are the others as good at that, or are they not? Y is for your expected results, and I will not hear otherwise about how that fits. This is the general game plan of the type. Goblins are a type that swarm the board very fast, whereas elves are all about ramping. So how well do they do that, and how well does that translate into a game plan? P is for command zone power, how well the commander supports the rest of the 99. A is for across the spectrum, how wide and how deep is the pool to build from? Is there enough of the cards? Is there enough color to support them? And L is for long lasting, how quickly do they bounce back from a board wipe or removal? Is it one and done, or can they get back to a board state very quickly? So that is what we will be basing this very scientific research on, that we have absolutely no qualms that we are going to get 100% right all of the time.
We have spent months researching
literal minutes researching this. Literally minutes. Oh, you got auto modded for saying slivers. That's interesting, Quincy.
I'm not seeing anything pop up, but
it's a bad word. Slivers are a bad word, it turns out. Right, so let's get into it, folks. If you do like what you see, please do drop us a like, drop us a follow if you are on Twitch, or a sub if you're on YouTube. All of that stuff does help push this out, and who knows, we're going to do these as much as we can be bothered to do them. Right. That's the truth of it. Right. Okay. So
the casualist of casual podcasts.
Yeah, exactly that. So first up, we have, I say we, Chrono has devised us a bracket system that has been paired up. So
let me zoom out so that at least folks,
yeah,
however small, you can see what our 32 bracket.
Yeah, so we have got the top 32 Kindred decks on EDHREC. Some of these are more surprising than others. But our first pairing is zombie versus knight. Cryptic, Kindred is not objectively wrong. Kindred is... It's got kind right there in the word.
It's also got red.
It's also got red. It's also got red. My experience is Knight's deck as a... Right, so you can't use Baz's Knight's deck as a basis for all Kindred decks because Baz's Knight deck has less than 10% of a deck is Knights.
I'm going to say that we have criteria to stick to here, John.
Yes.
Yep, we do have criteria to
analyze them with our empirical scientific method, and not based on whether Baz has the deck or not.
This, as I say, as John said, I looked at, I picked this bracket or these types out of the top 32, which are listed on EDH Rex Typal's page. It might be a little bit odd, especially given some of the ones that we are going to be talking about. And we have done this in a random pairings rather than seeded pairings.
Yes,
because if we were to do seeded pairings, the final is probably going to turn out to be Dragons versus Elves because those are number 1 and 2 on the EDH trick list. And this way, it gives others a fighting chance to potentially not be a final of that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we don't want it to be Dragons. We want it to be something obscure like Mir. That's right. I am always going to root for the underdog here. Like
EDH Rec list is based on like amount of decks, isn't it? So it's,
yeah,
it's essentially a popularity ranking. Like how
so not
many decks
necessarily
exist, so
strong.
not necessarily the best or strongest.
Yeah, not necessarily the strongest.
Criteria are, so.
It's also based on self-reporting to a certain extent, like how many are classified as or are reported as. I have this theme. Whether or not that theme is technically exists or not, we will see. And I'll try and give some rundown of numbers as well as reported by EDH Rec as we go through this. I will be the stats guy here.
I beat you to that joke.
Advisor.
Clips has said the best Kindred deck is Goats because, of course, they are quite literally the greatest of all time.
We don't have a legendary goat yet.
Why do we not have a legendary goat? We should have it. We've got a mole god. Surely we can have a goat god.
I'm trying to think if there is even any legendary creature that I think all goats are mentioned on non-legendary creatures.
I can only think of we're going off right on a tangent already.
But we do have legendary zombies and knights.
Yes, we do. But let's talk about goats for a moment. I can only think about the troll and the woe strider, and I think that's it.
Clackbridge troll.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things from original Lorwyn, like Cloud Strider Giant or something like that.
Okay. So anyway, let's talk about zombies and knights.
Zedra is a minotaur according to its type line.
Yeah, just because it's
weird.
And also, I don't know what a gout is. But okay. Sorry, cryptic. Right, let's jump into this then. So, zombie versus knight. So let's talk about zombies then. So zombies, how well do we think zombies are at supporting one another? So we didn't say this before. You can get a maximum of 10 points per letter, so a maximum of 50 points, and then whoever has the most points, if there's a tiebreaker, then we'll base it on vibes, and because that's scientific. And whoever has the most points moves on to the next round. Whoever doesn't gets eliminated. So T is for teamwork. Zombies, I feel zombies are actually fairly good at supporting one another. There's loads of cards that give them anthem effects. There's regeneration on some cards. There's ways to give them menace or other keywords. I think actually zombies are very good at giving each other the undead high five, as it was.
I agree very much.
Yeah.
Like you say, there's zombie lords, there's ones that give flying, evasion, whatever.
Yeah.
There's things like Gravecrawler, which are just zombie all-in-one combos. There's things like Rooftop Storm, which is specifically for zombies, but you know, Omniscience for zombies. They have like specific zombie support. There's Necroduality as well, which is just a cheaper Reflections of Lajara. So there's zombie-specific versions of already quite good, what I'm going to call generic Kindred cards.
Yeah,
that,
in terms
the
of
support's great.
In terms of lords, I'm pretty sure zombies have the most number of zombies you control get plus X plus Y.
Yeah, and I know some of the zombie lords aren't actually zombies. I don't think
Correct.
Lord of the Undead is actually a zombie,
No,
even though he definitely looks like a zombie.
There's a skeleton as well. I think I can't remember if Death Baron is a zombie or not, but
well, as Cronus says, there's enough of them that doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
they include as many as you really want to.
They are definitely a lot of them. I think this is an easy. I don't know if it's an easy 10.
I think it's top tier though.
It's definitely top tier though. I'd say 9 maybe.
Yeah, 9.
In
terms of
I'm a bit. I don't want to blow my immediately into a 10. Zombie's a great 10.
I kind of think that they do deserve it. They do have so much variety and so much strength.
Oh, it is a zombie.
That synergy.
Lord of the Undead is actually a zombie.
Okay. A 10 on teamwork specifically.
Yeah,
they are one of the very best.
Because it's also not just a simple pump of stats. There are you can get all zombies get swamp walk, all zombies get flying, all zombies get any number of keywords. Graph harvest gives them menace.
Bring zombies back from the graveyard. There's tons of that stuff. Yeah.
Especially for Commander, redundancy is king, and so many of those effects exist generically, and then you can include the one for zombies specifically as well. So I think that type of spot is probably a 10.
Okay,
I know we're kicking off strong.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, kicking off strong, but Knights then on the same basis. I think there is a lot for Knights. There's definitely is Knights you control have horsemanship, or is that just creatures you control have horsemanship?
No, Herald of Hoofbeats is Knights you control have horsemanship.
And I don't know if there was actually loads of this at the start, but I think from March of the Machines deck specifically, there was a lot of support in that deck specifically.
Knights had a bunch of support from mid Magic, because you have things like Knight Exemplar, which gave Knights indestructible, as well as
that's true
+1/+1. But as you say, March of the Machine doesn't have a plural. Really helped bolster Knights, and a lot of sets around it, like Throne of Eldraine was very good for Knights because it gave us things like Circle of Loyalty.
That's true,
and things like that. So we have steadily had the best knight is Hakon, who is in fact a zombie. So we have steadily seen an improvement in the quality of knight payoffs, or at least knight support. Because we've got Chivalric Alliance, Knights Charge. Look, I have 3 Knights decks. Well, 2 built and 1 half built. So I am very familiar with these supports and payoffs at the moment. But they are strong, basically.
They are strong. I think I'm probably more biased because I do have a bracket 2 zombie deck, mostly because I got the Aether Drift Precon. And really, the only card that I actually wanted in that was Hashiton for CDH. I mean, I had 99 other cards to make a deck with, so I made another zombie deck. So
I mean, look, that precon specifically gave us a new zombie support card on Wings of Gold.
Yeah, and that's really good. I really like that card a lot. But we're supposed to be talking about Knights.
Yeah.
Interestingly, have somewhat similar play pattern.
They
both
do.
Have strong reanimation packages. Zombies and Knights.
It's very similar and we'll get into this a little bit later on, but they are very similar in color builds as well, I think. But I do think zombies do have Knights beat on this. I think they are both very strong.
Yeah,
they are both legacy creatures, as in they are creature types that have existed from the start of Magic, more or less. And so there's a great big load of creatures that we can pick from that have good effects for these. But I do think zombies have Knights beat. So
I reckon that on teamwork, knights are probably a 7.
I agree,
maybe
and
an
I
8.
think yes, that is where I'm going.
I was going to say a 6.
I was going to say
I
a
would refer
7.
to your knight expertise for sure.
I was going to say 7 on knights. I don't think it's. I think it's definitely. I think it's a bit more than just above average.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, sure.
For,
and we can put zombies on it.
So and
9 or a
then
10, I guess.
well, we have still got 4 other categories to talk about. So expected results, and they are very similar game plans. But I would say actually, not necessarily. I think zombies don't necessarily have a clear direction because they can go wide. They can also be aristocratic. They can also be sacrifice loops. There's definitely more combo potential. Whereas knights, there is definitely a very straightforward game plan, which is assemble knights, then hit face.
Smash face, yeah.
Whereas zombies, for better or worse, are a bit more spread across the spectrum of strategies. You can just do that,
but I
then
think
I
think that's in their favor. I think that's in their favor, though. That they do have a wider variety of game plans.
I'd argue that is only in their favor if you are an experienced deck builder. Otherwise, it could be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, but we are talking about functional magic decks.
Sure.
Not necessarily how easy they are to build.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, right, if I was a new player on I do agree, Cryptic, I'm just playing a bit of devil's advocate here. If I was a new player on EDH and I wanted to build a zombie deck and I wanted to build a night decks are pretty straightforward. That would all make sense to me. But then I got onto EDH and there's all of these stuff and like, well, why is this in here? Why is Gravecrawler, Phyrexian, why is all this stuff in here? I'm a new player. I don't necessarily understand. And I think that whilst it is good in their favor, I think I'm just trying to draw attention to that it's not having more strategies is not necessarily always a good thing for all people. It's a great thing for me. I'm an experienced player, but if my son who is just started playing Magic, he might not understand the nuance of that, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that. Like if you take an average zombie commander, you're not necessarily you almost have too much choice as to which direction you want to go in. So I will see that from the perspective of a new player, having a lot of variety and having a wide build.
Oh, is that right, Cryptic? I didn't actually know that Kenrith was the third most popular knight.
Yeah, like when you delve into the things, what actually counts as commanders for a lot of these decks isn't necessarily something which shares that creature type, but this is something we will talk about, like in the like how well does it play out the command zone. Overall, though, I think we are pitching this at the level of at least semi-experienced.
Yes, and I do think that the strategies that zombies have outweigh the strategies that knights have. Because, like Cryptics just said in chat, it's the other strategy that knights have is equipment and Voltron, and that is a bad strategy. Like you can do it well, but. You suit up one guy, kill one player, the other 2 players kill you. That is generally the game plan of Voltron.
Path to exile your dude first.
Yeah.
Okay, we have seen Voltron diminish a little bit, but knights have almost always led to either go tall or go wide, and this is something that we will talk about with a number of the other Typal pairings. So particularly when you have Sidar Jabari, which did offer us this reanimation strategy for the first time. So Sidar Jabari is Alfir the Esper, Knight Commander from much Machine Commander decks. But as Grimby said, Sir Gwyn gave us equipment payoff finally, because they'd been toying around with equipment for a while. Coming out of Dominaria and such. Shanid, who was the other commander in the Knights Brawl, in the Mardu Knights Brawl deck, cares about legendaries, which gives us
she was in with the Hadda deck. That's where she was actually found in. That had a
right,
but she's just been repurposed because she is a Mardu knight, and there are lots of legendary knights in those colors, so it does sort of work. But that is more, I'd argue, a legendaries matters commander rather than a knights. But you can impose that sort of.
But I would say that if you are looking at legendary knight in your command zone, you have got a few options, but definitely not as many as zombies.
No, that's true. So I think for Y, we are definitely going to score zombies higher than knights in this. I think. Yeah. But
more consistent and better top end.
I think we are looking at an 8 for zombies and maybe a 5 for knights for me personally. I think that there's nothing wrong with the knight strategy, but I do think it's about an average strategy.
Quick question about how we are scoring this. Is this score purely against each other in this individual thing?
Yeah. And we'll
go on to the next bracket, like after zombies or knights win, they'll face off against shapeshifter or fairy.
Yeah, it's against each other rather than
over in any way. It's just because I wouldn't say that zombies are like a 9 and an 8 like.
To be fair, we're not really. I think we've got to take this into wider account because we're not rescoring in subsequent rounds.
No, it's definitely just vibes. It's vibes. Scientific.
No, we are rescoring in subsequent rounds.
But not necessarily. I think there might be a. Do we agree that? Because there'll be a case where goblins will be better than something, but then we'll put is goblin. I think
it might be a time.
Fine. So I think we can maybe look at the overall. We'll work it out as we go.
I just wanted to check. I don't want to give zombies an 8 on expected results. If that's like an absolute value, because I don't think they are that consistent.
Well, that's fine.
You could other things like elves, like way more consistent. We'll get to elves, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, but
so I think zombies 8 is quite high.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think if we're going to give knights 5, then I think zombies are a 7.
Okay,
that seems fair.
7 it is, and this is why there's 3 of us, because there'll be a tiebreaker
because they are consistent. Like you can easily get like just value with zombies.
Yeah,
drawing cards and doing all this stuff.
So support from the command zone then. There are a ton of zombie payoffs, but the best ones have come out more recently, I'd argue. The best one for ages was Verena. Then there was Wilhelt, and now we've had Temet, but
Scarab God as well was kind of in there.
Scarab God, yeah.
And this is the thing, like Scarab God is cited as a zombie commander when it is not a zombie itself, it is a god. Wilhelt is the most popular zombie
it's card drawing the command zone, that's why.
And we have a bunch of those. So if for numbers purposes, which I probably should have done at the start of the pairing. So if we were looking at seeds, knights are the 16th most popular type, with 12,604 decks, versus zombies at number 3 with 40,687 decks.
Okay.
Quite a lot.
Now,
there's quite a lot.
If we are looking at legendaries, then I did a quick check, and we have got there are 83 legendary knights, and there are 57 legendary zombies.
That's way more than I thought.
That is way more than I thought. Yeah,
but there are also 22 other legendary creatures that mention zombies.
And also looking at I've now got this up because I want to talk about this as well. I'm looking at the top commanders, and out of the top commanders are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Only 1, 2, 3 of them are actually zombies.
Yeah.
The rest we're looking at Sauron, the Dark Lord, or the Scarab God, Verena, Lich Queen, Githrin, Geralf. These tend to actually Sauron and Saruman care more about zombie armies. And
so this is where zombies come into their fore, because they are very easy to make as tokens, and there are lots of token generating decks that rely on zombies as their payoff as the zombie horde.
I feel like Well, I want to ask the question: how important do you think it is that the creature in the command zone is of the same type? Because for me, it's not that important. It has to have synergy, interact in a
True.
favourable way.
I
Which
agree.
the Scarab God, I think, is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
It's not a zombie, but it's such a zombie commander. It does so many zombie things, like you say, it makes tokens, whatever.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it plays to a lot of the
zombies.
same. It plays
So
to a lot of the same things that you want to do because it buys into the reanimations, the reanimator, the graveyard matters kind of.
So for me, I'm not too fussed about
No.
it not
No,
being a zombie.
I think that's fair, but
the strength from the command zone is
No.
there.
Yeah, but I guess my argument about this is, and that is that Wilhel is the most popular and clear for obvious reasons. It's the most popular zombie commander. But then the next one is Sauron the Dark Lord, which has nothing to do with zombies. It doesn't support zombies in any way at all.
Yeah.
And then it's the Scarab God. You know, so it feels like this may, even though we're pairing this against how supported the strategy is in the command zone. And I think the fact that zombies are naturally strong anyway, that doesn't mean that they don't necessarily need that, they don't necessarily need it. But I think if we then look at, just because they're strong though, doesn't mean that, I think we can score them lower in this part than we did for teamwork because they're not actually that well supported. They don't need to be because they're strong, but they'd be way stronger if there was a lot more support for them, is I guess what I'm trying to get at. Because there's Verena, Wilhel, the Scarab God, and Temet are the next ones that actually do something with zombie types.
Yeah, but I mean, remember the Verena triggers off zombies as opposed to necessarily benefiting zombies. But as I say, it benefits your game plan.
For having zombies, whereas Sauron does not give any.
It amasses.
Yeah, he amasses, but he amasses orcs.
No, but whenever an army you control deals combat damage,
but
then you get to do the whole Sauron.
But what I'm saying is, he doesn't care if it's a zombie or an orc. He cares that it's an army, and that is different.
This is true.
Yeah.
And that's the same for Saruman. They are. I'm not saying that they're not strong commanders. They are, but they are doing a different thing. They care about amassing. So I think they are. They're not terribly supported, but I wouldn't say that is. I'd say it's maybe a 6 because there are definitely way better options out there for.
I'd just I guess offer the counterpoint of, they don't have a lot to do with zombies on the face of it. Not in the same ways like Wilhel, but zombies are so versatile that it can be supported by something like Sauron, which has incidental connection by armies being zombies, but they're strong enough that it's supported by a variety of different things. It's not just 3 lines of text that all interact with a specific kindred, and that's the only command you can run because the kindred themselves is quite weak. Those, and I'm sure we'll get to them in a bit.
I agree with Joe. When we're looking at this, I think we've got to look at the broad picture. It's if you are running a lot of zombies, you don't necessarily need a zombie type commander in your command zone. But how well does it play to the archetypes that we have previously discussed? And there are there are a lot of commanders that support zombies being your primary
true,
type.
I suppose. It doesn't even necessarily say zombie on the type, but there is definitely reanimating stuff.
There are plenty of things
which feed into that strategy more than others, especially when we look at knights, where we have Sardar Jabari, we've got Ariel, the Council of Four, kind of, because they make knights, but that's at a push. Alenda and Azor.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, John.
And they are much weaker, significantly weaker.
When you're talking about that, I mean, look, I run Bladewing as a zombie, which creates zombie knight, but is a dragon itself. So I think in terms of support from the command zone, zombies has knights beat here because I think zombies,
hands down, yeah.
like I think zombies is a 7 or 8 probably. Maybe
I would say 6 or 7. But yeah, Joe.
I would go with John. It being a bit lower, like a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
6 it is. Yeah.
Because there are some very powerful commanders elsewhere.
Yeah, they're
just
just
one thing about EDH Rec. This isn't to do with zombies or knights specifically, but the numbers. When you're on the commanders for zombies or whatever, I think Sauron says it's 5,600, 5,400. That is specifically with the zombie tag, because there's something like 28,000 Sauron, the Dark Lord decks.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it is specifically like zombie Sauron decks, not just Sauron.
Yeah, I'm going to push that
quite
as a 7, because that's about the median of where we.
Okay, that's fine. I find that maddening in a way that Sauron is more popular as a zombie commander than the Scarab God and Verena, because I feel like they are specific. Yeah.
So one thing we do have to bear in mind also here with the EDH rec numbers is that it's not of all time. Their numbers are over a specific period, which I believe is 2 years, and that's to avoid the massive older commanders or older weight putting too much pressure on newer things. But what that also does mean is that there is a recency bias, because Verena, for example, was languishing in the wilderness for a long time before the Amonkhet before the Ether Drift precon.
Yeah, she was.
She was the secondary commander in a different precon.
She was, wasn't she? I can't remember what precon that was. But
I should remember, but I don't. But yeah, she was a secondary commander in a different precon, and did not see a huge amount of play from that. It's only when supported with things like Hashaton and the Scarab God and so forth that she came into her own. And,
R2.
And there's also
weird.
Yeah, there's also the people had forgotten about her as a commander until the new product comes out, and you've got loads of new players. You've got loads of new players now being exposed to that. So these are the sorts of things that we have to also consider when we are looking at the figures that are coming out of EDH Rec
specifically.
Man, old precons used to be something else, didn't they? I'm an R2. Yeah, we'll slap a zombie card in there, sure.
Oh god, she was in that. Yes, she was in that one.
Cares about blinking and stuff. Definitely.
It was A across the spectrum. Colours.
Yes.
So what are we going to put knights at here?
Knights.
This is a 2 or a 3, isn't it?
That's definitely. I was going to say a 4, but I feel like I'm being generous. I think it is 3.
Limited. I would go with 3 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put that as a 3.
I'm sorry, Baz. We're trashing knights.
A 2 or 3 actual good.
A is for across the spectrum. How wide and how deep is the pool to build from? This is also taken into consideration. Colors available, like do the widely accepted decks do the colors actually support them in that way? And I think for the most part they're zombies are very well supported across both colors.
Earlier, like over time there's been a lot of zombie cards and a lot of night cards.
So colors wise, zombies are primary in blue and black.
White for Amonkhet specifically.
They got white because of mummies in Amonkhet, which pushed a few. There were a few older ones as well, but that thing. So, but in terms of color pie, zombies are overwhelmingly black. There are very few non-black zombies. There is only a handful of zombies that have green in their color identity. Vulturous zombie or something. There's a plant zombie from original Ravnica. Is about
isn't there?
There's a flying one, which is really weird. But on the whole, you are looking at Dimir with splashes into Esper.
Reliquary as well,
or Grixis maybe.
But White of the Reliquary is a Modern Horizons 3 card. So that's last 2 years.
Yeah,
last year.
I
God.
think. Oh my god, really? Only last year?
Yeah,
It really has been a lot of products.
So when we're talking about width of the color, when we're talking about the color pie for zombies,
I think
it's reasonably restricted, up to 3 color, but it's best.
You're looking
at
3 color, yeah.
Like they are like,
yeah.
I think, even there are other colored zombies.
Oh
like,
yeah,
they
you
do
can
exist.
you can find zombies in all colors.
Find Golgari
but-
zombies.
yeah.
You know, it does exist, but I do think they are across the spec. They are mostly in blue, black, and they are very well supported in those, like heavily so.
Yes. And in terms of depth of pool, there are huge numbers of zombies. Zombies is supremely printed. You are not wanting 4 creatures to include in your deck.
No, definitely not. And it's knights not dissimilar. Like knights are a historic type as well. They've been there since practically day one. In fact, probably day one. But I think we've sort of talked about this in the strategy is there's a lot, even though they are very good at supporting one another, because they are across, except from green, I can't think
there might be one or two, but again, green is the lowest number of knights, but you will often find it paired with others. So
like elves, it'll be an elf knight.
Well,
surely.
yeah, or it's white green knights.
Yeah.
So like what the Sidar that we got in the partner commanders.
That guy
in 2016, the one which has flanking. Knights' role is inherently less supported, but
I think it is. Yeah,
it's wider. There are more knights across the color pie, even though they are mostly centered in white, blue, white, black, and then green, red, blue. In terms of options, though, you do have more options when it comes to commanders for knights in different colors.
You do. There's Jeskai here. There's mono black.
I mean, I say, look, I've looked at 2 different flavors of Mardu. I've got Esper. I've got Rakdos. You can find a knight in almost any color combination.
You can. I think across the color pie itself, there's a lot there.
I think this is the best thing about knights in terms of our little categories. They
I agree.
Quite wide and quite deep.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of knights over a lot of time.
Yes.
And if you want to put a knights deck together, you've got a lot of options. Like a lot.
Very much so.
So I think this is where knights shine a little bit more.
Yeah, and like Cryptic says, a knight can be any species. You have other species of knights all over the place. Like we have a mouse knight, we have a human knight, we have elf knights, we have Emir knights. We've got they are mostly human. We've got a cat knight, but we've got they are across all of them. And I think
I'm putting knights up near like an 8 or something for across the spectrum. They really are quite varied.
Yeah, they are quite varied, and I think that is a good thing actually.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
this isn't about power. This is purely about
it's like where are your options?
Do they permeate into Magic? Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in terms of this, zombies, sure, there's a lot of cards like over history, but it's quite restricted into colours. I would give zombies maybe a 5 for across the spectrum.
Yeah,
this isn't power related. It's a different category.
I'd say 6, but I would give 8 for knights.
I think 6 because their depth is significant.
It's not just a recent.
You can go very deep on zombies. Probably slightly deeper than you could on knights, but I think you get more variety in what those knights do as opposed to what those zombies do.
Yeah, and there are more humans than anything else, so humans would automatically get a 10 based on what we are discussing now. But
exactly. But I'm kind of okay with that though. Like some of the categories are to do with different aspects.
Yeah.
This
right. Okay.
What do
8
you
and
want
a
to
6,
give?
did we say?
8 and a 6. Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Right, and finally, long lasting. How quickly do they bounce back from a board wipe? And I think zombies are going to have this beat. There's so much recursion. I think knights have a hard time.
Zombies inherently want to come back from the dead.
Yeah,
that's just what they want to do. So I agree. Although I will say, and I'm sure Chrono can attest to this, knights can evade a board wipe quite frequently, have indestructible, and just not be killed in the first place. And I think that counts in terms of like long-lasting stickiness.
I think they have a certain degree more. I think they have a certain degree more board resilience. Yeah. But let's be honest. Most of the time, when you are running a zombie strategy, you do not care if they die. So you don't care if your board is necessarily that resilient, because you will be able to bring them back, or you are doing something with them in your graveyard.
Where are the weaknesses, like graveyard exile? That's fairly common in.
It is fairly
Commander.
common, but and
they can get blown out by other things that wouldn't necessarily affect the knights. But
I don't know. I think if you are exiling in general, that's pretty much a universally get.
I don't mean like a farewell. That gets everyone, obviously. But I mean, like, if you've got a load of zombies in your graveyard that have just been bowled up, you don't care.
I mean,
someone Bajuka bogs you, then you're.
But that's the thing. But
or you
also,
put them there yourself, for example.
This is where we're also looking at the sort of thing that you are also playing around with your knight, because knights you are often playing white. As much as we have said that you can find knights in any card, when you are playing knights Typal, you are usually playing white in that deck, which gives you that resiliency. So outside of Knight Exemplar, you are probably keeping your board more so than you are when you are playing zombies. But I do still think that the overall longevity of and ease of bounce back is stronger with zombies.
I think because I agree.
Draw more cards and get other resources in the process of your zombies dying or getting
exactly
blown out by that.
So this is where I would probably say that knights is about a 5 or a 6, and zombies is about an 8.
I'd go 5 and 8 for knights out of 5 personally.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the total score.
Yeah.
What's the total score? Surely zombies have beat this. Like,
give me a few moments, because what I didn't do on my spreadsheet was have an auto sum column. So let me just do that.
That's true. Addison has put that our cards are board wipe and then give you zombies.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So what we have
to make sure we covered various things, not just like a board wipe, because there's a lot of situations where you get
so like
strategy dependent.
Yeah, so I mean, Cyclonic Rift is a board wipe in this sort of thing, but I still think zombies would bounce back just about the same as the knights on that category. Elves would obviously be better because they're cheaper and they can just get stuff out faster. But we're not talking about elves right now. We're talking about
on balance, zombies definitely better than knights.
Yes.
I agree with the scorings that we've got. I'd just like to consider different angles from it.
So I'm putting the numbers in now. We have 38 out of 50 for zombies and 28 out of 50 for knights. Zombies takes it.
Unsurprising.
I am also aware that we have spent a lot of time on round 1.
Yeah, we have. So we'll pick up the speed on this. Yeah. Right. Okay. So next round we are on Shapeshifter, which took me by surprise, and Fairies.
Okay.
And I feel like Shapeshifter is a contentious one, but it is in the top 32.
Like quite generous.
Yeah. So here are a few numbers for us to go into. So Fairy is 15th out of 32. And Shapeshifter is 27th out of 32.
Okay, so just sneak
Fairies have 14,656 decks. Shapeshifters 5,771.
So many.
Yeah, I feel like this is Shapeshifters is a contentious point because it's all creature types, and I feel like
I don't think it is though, John. I think it is Shapeshifter specifically. Like the cards are Shapeshifters.
A lot of Shapeshifters have Changeling.
Yeah, that's why. But I feel like
all Shapeshifters have Changeling.
Yeah,
and I think the Shapeshifter decks are very much. Sorry, Craig, I didn't mean to interrupt you. They are versions of, and it's a very fun deck because I've played against it before. But Toma's Changeling deck. That's what it is, right? That is the point of it. But So
you can use things like effects that get all Phyrexians out of your deck. And
exactly,
this is the thing.
All
so
gods.
Shapeshifter decks are often clone decks.
Yeah.
And they're also bolstered by things like Sakashima.
Yeah. So T is for teamwork, and I don't think clones actually support one another that well. They are borrowing effects from other strategies.
That's what they're doing.
They are being thieving little gits. Yeah, they are. We're just like, oh, that looks cool. I'll do that. And then no actual identity.
Poor on
themselves.
Teamwork. I agree.
Yeah,
they might be good at other stuff. Poor on Teamwork.
Poor on teamwork.
Because
like a 2.
Because there isn't a Shapeshifters get X.
No, there isn't.
A Shapeshifter Lord. There isn't a Changelings Lord. There aren't the sorts of.
I think it's even a 1. I think
there aren't the synergies really that you would expect.
They don't do anything with each other.
They don't do anything, no, but it's just I agree.
Fairies though do have some synergy. Like,
yes,
they have lords. They have fairy specific. Oh, you draw a card. Oh, they get evasion. Kind of effects.
Yeah,
not as much as something like Merfolk or even Knights.
They're
do
low
have
down
some.
the list, but yeah.
Bitter
Blossom.
What is it going to give on Knights? Because I think it's probably weaker than Knights.
It's weaker than Knights. We gave Knights a 7. I think Fairy is probably about 5.
I think
maybe.
5 sounds.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe a 4.
I don't know if it's a 4.
Let me see if there's any like.
So the most common commanders are a Layla, which is about casting your first spell during each opponent's turn, create a fairy. And whenever one or more fairies you control deal combat damage to a player, goad a creature. Or Tegwell, but I've said that wrong. But
Tegwell,
is an anthem effect. A Layla is kind of an anthem effect. It does say creatures you control with flying get +1, but fairies often fly. When another fairy enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. I think actually they do support each other as well as knights, at least.
I don't think it's quite as.
I don't think it's as good because there are fewer fairy lords than there are knight lords. There are more ways of creating fairies, but more often than not, they're not on fairies themselves. So
I don't
as
think
a
there are many
type,
like fairy specific tutors or anything like that either. Which I think comes into this kind of
there
are things that give like
here.
fairies or your fairy shroud, but there are fewer of those fairy specific buffs than.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you are right. There are a few. I mean, in fact, a lot of these
seem to be.
I think
getting info from chat.
In fact, I think a lot of the fairy strategy, which is what we'll get onto, is actually more, which is in line with their theme. It's all about disrupting opponents' stuff, right? That's the being bit. So I think you're right. I think they are. I still kind of want to give them a. Yeah, I think I'm being too generous here.
Yeah,
Fairy Harbinger does. It's got flash, and you can search for a fairy.
I think we're looking at a 4 or a 5. I think 4 might even be on the. I think it's a 4, really. Yeah.
Okay, Joe, what do you reckon?
I would agree with that. It's
4?
fine. They have some synergy.
Yeah,
they are worthy of being in the top 32.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, why? Expected results. Do changelings have a strategy of them borrowing other people's? I mean, they're very good at that.
I think actually expected results is quite good. They're strong.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
like on this axis, they are strong because admittedly they're often only as strong as your opponents, but.
That's not necessarily true. It's whatever you can also jam in your own deck.
Yeah.
Like if you put slivers in there, then strong, but that's
exactly,
just
or like the
strong.
World Tree or whatever, where you just vomit out all of your creatures.
Yeah,
I think you can basically pick and choose the best bits of all of the strategies because you're often going to be running a 5-color commander as well, which we'll get to on Command Zone Power. But so yeah, I think Shapeshifter generally actually quite good for expected results.
What would you score it?
Unfortunately, well, I think because it could be quite easily disrupted, like in terms of that's a very important I win the game permanent, a braid or whatever. and it's kind of telegraphs what it's going to do.
Yeah,
that makes it weaker to other players being in the game, which there are 4 players in the game.
And
so.
whilst the card types do exist, not many people are playing. I mean, actually, this is maybe part of its benefit because it's all creature types. You can get the board wipes that wipe specific creature types, and because they're all creature types, they sort of.
I don't think they dodge. I don't.
No,
think
they don't dodge it, do they?
They get included
that makes it.
all of them.
Makes
because
it.
Again, this is the switch up between like shapeshifters which have changeling and shapeshifters which don't, and clones often won't. But depending on which line you are playing down, because obviously,
I think we don't necessarily have to consider the clone line too much because that's not a Kindred. That is just definitely not a Kindred deck.
But if you are considering, say, the changeling line. Then you are looking at, you've got access to basically every Typal effect, including all the original Lorwyn stuff, Wings of Velis Veil, Crux of Fate as a board wipe, because you don't care whether it's dragons or non-dragons, because you pick whichever one is advantageous for you. At that
Although they
point,
all get included in something like Crux of Fate because they are both dragons and non-dragons.
Yeah, but if they are dragons and you choose,
they're not non-dragons actually.
Yeah.
No, that one specifically is worded like that. Sorry. Anyway,
yeah,
right.
And that's pretty much that's the top. That's the top.
I kind of want to give it a 7. I feel like I'm being generous on it, but
I think that is way too generous.
You're right. Okay, fair enough.
I think 6 because I think it's 6 because I
Fund.
think it's middle of the. I think their strategy as a whole is fairly middle of the road.
7 did feel a bit generous. Let's go with 6. I agree. Speaking of fair enough, fairies, they are disrupting game plan. The categories, Addison, we'll just quickly go back to this, are these very scientific terms that I came up with. So we got T is Typal, T is for teamwork, Y is for your expected results, P is for command zone power, A is for across the spectrum, and L is for long lasting.
I think when it comes to your expected results for fairies, this is going to be pretty high because what you are building fairies for is to, as Cryptic has said, as Chat has said, it's to be disruptive. You are almost certainly looking at an aerial strategy.
Flies are good.
You are possibly also looking at artifact payoffs because you are usually in artifact colors. In terms of primarily blue, and then with black, maybe white, maybe red as some of that. But you are looking to mess around with the board state and synergize well off the entirety of what you are doing. And I think fairies, in terms of a game plan, have a much stronger game plan than
by a margin, I'd say. I agree. I think if we are being
experience with fairies.
I think if we're being honest, I think shapeshifters are, and Toma, if you're watching, I'm gonna say sorry now, but I think shapeshifters are a meme deck. You are they you want to get the world tree, you want to spew your deck out. That's what you want to do. But there is fairies is very much control. Generally, there's a lot of counter stuff, and that is obviously well supported just generally. So I agree. I think for strategic purposes, fairies are quite a bit better. What did we give?
We gave Zombie 7. I think I think in terms of what you're strategizing with for your game plan, fairies are at least that.
I agree. I don't think they're more than that.
I think I agree. Yeah, I was erring on the side of fairies are a bit weaker, but yeah, they have a robust strategy. They have the colors and support to enable that kind of. No, you return that to your hand. No, don't do that.
Actually, do we want to push shapeshifters down to 5 and make?
I'd push it down to 4.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
okay with
sounds
that.
good. Widen it.
And so fairies are. I think fairies are at least a 7. Do we? Because I think they are definitely as good as zombies. Here.
I don't know if they're as good as
are.
zombies, but I don't think they're as good as zombies because zombies have all the stuff that fairies have to a degree, but also with the aristocratic side.
I think it's a different game plan. I think
it's a different game
fairies
plan.
can hold their own,
but
for sure.
They can hold their own. But I think
them.
if we're saying because they have very similar, like zombies also control the board, and they have ways to do sack outlets. But not to dispute that fairies don't have a strong strategy. They do. There's a lot of weird stuff that fairies like to do, like misdirecting, like goad is something that they can do. You know,
just make the point of like a lot of that similarity is because they share
that's true.
The same colors, but the fairy specific support is more in favor of that like bounce hand counter a spell, and they do that. They do have a lot of strength in that.
Yeah. I don't think he's better. I think he's as good as.
Okay, we'll put that as a 7.
7.
Command zone powered. How supported are they in the command zone? Shapeshifters are a 1.
Shapeshifters, you have one choice.
You have.
No, okay.
No,
so
what is there actually?
So this is okay. When we look, if we're looking at pure typals, there are 19 legendary fairies. There are 14 legendary shapeshifters. However, one of those is Morophon. So Morophon the Boundless obviously skews all the talk on this because Morophon is a changeling and also basically supports all the niche types. So
what are we looking at for the others? So we've got Moriette of the Frost.
It's the best one.
Sure, shapeshifters. We've got Moriette of the Frost. Which is a kind of a snow deck. We've got Omo again. That's not.
Thorap the Shape Stealer. Weirdly, I'd forgotten about that guy.
I've always been really interested in that,
in terms of low commander numbers and things. Lazav Dimir Mastermind.
Like I would say,
so,
in terms of straightforward things, like Lazav is often like the best, but like we also have like the OG Halfdane, which if you could ever get a hold of a copy of it would be great. But
to the 93 people running a Togatog, I salute you.
I'm here for you.
But in terms of necessarily doing what you, each of the legendary shapeshifters wants you to do a very specific thing and go down a very specific line. Whereas I think fairies are slightly broader in that appeal. And again, this is mostly talk about game plan, but it means that your typal deck can switch out commanders or swap up power in the command zone more easily than if it was, say, a shapeshifter deck.
I think, so it's not all necessarily about variety. I think there is something to say for shapeshifters having Morophon. That is quite a powerful option.
Yes.
The rest of them are terrible and not worth really considering. Morophon, though, is actually quite a strong option. 5 colours, does relevant stuff. It's probably better than a 1, purely because Morophon exists.
I think Morophon basically makes this a 3.
I would say a 3 just because of how good and flexible Morophon will let you be.
Fairies, on the other hand,
much more variety.
Much more variety.
Powerful choices in some cases. Alayla can absolutely slap.
What I like about the fairy commanders, because we have like 2 Alaylas, we've got Tegwell, that you can have a robust fairy shell and run any of these as the commander and it be strong.
I mean, remember for a long time,
you'll ignore Morophon for the other ones, but purely about it is a shapeshifter, so I think it's valid for its own creature type.
I think for a long time, your primary fairy commander was Una Queen of the
Yes, that's right.
Coming out, which obviated a mill strategy. But like obviously, Eldraine gave us more options, and say with Alayla, broadening them out into more artifact-based strategies, and things like that. And I think the overall power of a commander you will have in your command zone if you are playing fairies is pretty strong. They are evasive. They are often tricksy. They are going to do weird and wonderful things. Talion, the kindly lord, is another option. And we've all seen how that played out for a bit. Particularly if you were playing Arena. They are sticky. They do weird and interesting and wonderful things, and for that reason, I think that this should rate. I mean, at least as high as zombies.
I agree. I think at least as high. I think they are more or less the same as zombies. I agree.
Yeah, I'm swayed by your arguments.
Zombies with wings, kind of. So. We've
I like shiny trinkets more. That's the case.
Yeah. Across the spectrum is next. How wide and how deep is a pool to build from? And I hate this for shapeshifters because technically it's everything. Technically it's fucking everything.
Okay.
I've been careful not to swear on this, but that just genuinely upsets me.
I think shapeshifters are kind of like a 10 or a 1 in a lot of
or a 1, yeah.
I don't think we can quite push it that way. I think what we've got to look at are
there are not actually like that many shapeshifters. There are like plenty of creatures to choose from, but you don't really have that much depth in cards.
Not if you were saying specifically, I'm having only shapeshifters, but you are never having only shapeshifters because the strategy is I'm having every creature type. That is actually the strategy. And I think
the thing is, you also don't just want like specific creature types because if you've got generic,
I think we don't want to give it a 10 because we hate fairy, it. But it is 10.
You've got like something that supports zombies and like different creature types. So you do only want to include changelingy shapeshifters. You need ones that are all creature types rather than individually different creature types.
And I think
so it is limited. You can't have anything. You can have things that are everything specifically.
Because again, if we are looking at shapeshifter commanders as outside of Morophon, you are looking at very specific things, and on that basis, your card pool is not actually that deep, even if you are picking across the color pool. But again, you're also outside of Morophon, you are color restricted because most shapeshifters are blue, with a smattering of other colors. They are not.
Is Orvar a shapeshifter?
Orvar is a shapeshifter, but I think as much as I hate it, it has to be a 10 because the strategy is play all the other creature types.
I disagree.
That's including all of them.
But you're not playing all creature types. You're playing ones that are individual creatures that are all creature types. You can't play an elf in it.
You can.
You've got to play it. No, but it's not going to work. Because it's
going to be all elves get +1/+1, and now all your shapeshifters get that buff. And it's the same for slivers. All your shapeshifters are slivers as well, so they get haste and flying. And by introducing that one card into the pool,
but the sliver and the elf don't interact with each other. What I mean is, if you include just even slightly too much of that stuff, you start diluting that. You want changelings. You want creatures that are all creature types to be buffed by other stuff. I don't know. I disagree that it's a 10. It's high because you've got a lot of choice color-wise.
I think Chrono, you are the tiebreaker on this because I think if we are saying that we're talking about how wide the pool is to build from, you can literally put anything in there and it works. It has to be a 10 because you can put the Dragon in, and that is a thing that you can put in. You can put Shivan Dragon if you actually give a fuck about
Dragon, you just have it in the command zone because all your changelings are dragons as well as other creature types.
Yeah, but okay, and you can put Sliver, Hive Lord in, and now all your changelings have Cascade.
Yeah,
individual things, but
they have it all. Like they have access to everything. They have access to all the colors and all the creature types. They just have access to all of that.
If we look, I guess I think I have to go on that. Like, if we're looking at what your available pool is,
the pool is wide. It just is. Like, I hate it. But
like,
it's true.
It is like it is genuinely horrible. Your pool is the entirety of Magic.
It just is, yeah. It's everything that we're talking about. That's why I hate this type.
My point is, if you do too much of that, you'll end up with a deck with lots of individual things.
Yeah, but that's why the strategy is bad.
I'm not saying you've got the choice of everything. You will have to include a certain amount of changeling cards.
Yeah. But that's not really what we're looking at here. We're looking at just what you have got access to.
I agree, but it's not as straightforward as you can't have everything. It's not a 10, maybe a 9. I'll go with 9. I can't give it a 10. I just can't.
Well, I have to. So, Chrono, you are the tiebreaker.
Unfortunately, I think I have to give it a 10.
Sorry,
Joe. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
I hate it, but it is objectively true that if you have access to everything, then you have access to everything. Like, that doesn't mean that the strategy is good. The strategy is bad.
The strategy is awful.
But you do have access to everything. It's really easy to say, I want to build a changeling deck, and then it doesn't matter what you have. You can riffle through your bulk and have something. Yeah. There will be something.
Yeah.
Fairies.
Fairies, primarily blue and black, smattering of white, smattering of red.
Some green.
Straight on.
There are some old fairies with green, but
and Ivy, a new fairy.
Oh god.
Yeah, but Ivy's cool. But I mean, she weirdly cares more about copying stuff. She falls into.
Oh yeah, she cares about morphs and stuff, not fairies.
But in terms of the depth of, like, your pool is not very wide. Unfortunately, your pool is not very deep either, because in terms of good
fairies,
you quickly run out of good ones.
You quickly run out of good fairies, and your fairy support on. Well, your fairy support is decent. You're often relying on token generators to create your fairies as an adjunct to, say, card draw. Rubinia Soul Singer, very good fairy.
Very good,
Oh god, yes. I built a Rubinia Soul Singer deck for all of 2 games, and it was hated out on both occasions, and I got dismantled.
Yeah. So I think the pool is definitely less than Knights and Zombies by quite a lot, and I think we gave them a 5 and a 6.
So we gave it 8. We gave Knights 8 and Zombies 6.
And I think it's less than Zombies. I think we're looking at 4.
Those numbers are wrong. But now that I'm thinking about it,
it's all relative. Everyone else will be compared to these as well, and we'll accordingly.
I think
it's a 4.
I think fairies is a 4 here.
4 it is.
Okay, and last one, long lasting. I think they're both probably. I think they both last as well as one another to a board wipe.
I would say that the changelingy stuff, in terms of changeling shapeshifter support, it's just whatever generic support you can have for anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to put Sliver, whatever. That
no, but I wouldn't necessarily count all the other, like, tribal supports. Just, like, you can use Teferi's protection or whatever you've got access to.
Yeah, you're reliant on general protection.
Yeah, not like the actual strength of the creature type.
There's nothing about the creature type that lends itself to being resilient.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they are probably quite bad. And as Cryptic fairies have flash, so even if you board wipe,
fairies are flash. Fairies are often cheaper.
Yeah,
because they are often small. So whilst they might die easily to a board wipe, if you have got enough of them. And again, you're looking at token generators to quickly to spew out fairies.
Okay. So I think these are not as good as Zombies at this. So what did we score Zombies?
Yeah. So Zombies we gave an 8. I think Shapeshifters are pretty low if we are looking at Shapeshifters.
4.
I mean, Shapeshifters are a 3. I think
2 or 3.
Yeah, 3.
I think fairies are at least as good as knights here, and
I agree.
Maybe even slightly better, maybe a 6.
I think they are better than knights because you can flash these out.
Good. Yeah, 6. At least a 6. What did we give zombies? An 8?
An 8.
Yeah.
But that's because you either want them to die anyway, or you can get them back.
And
from
you
the
can
graveyard
get them back
very
out of the
easily.
graveyard.
6 is fine. You do have to like pay for
Yeah.
fairies afterwards.
And also, you are you are less likely to reanimate fairies than you are zombies. Just generally speaking, as part of your game plan. You want to protect them originally, and as Cryptic says, you are often fairies more so than like zombies and knights. You are often playing counter magic.
Please tell me shapeshifters are gone from this
good
bracket.
Okay, so shapeshifters have a final score of 21.
Really?
Quite
That
low.
high?
That's quite low.
10 really helped.
The 10 pulled that
A lot
up.
of heavy lifting.
But fairies have a score of 28.
That's closer than I'd like, but I'm glad they've gone.
Which puts them equal to knights.
That's fair,
and
yeah.
They
Okay.
move
I think
through.
that seems okay.
Okay, next
I
we have. Oh, sorry, Joe. What were you saying?
I was saying what was next, but you introduce it, please.
Oh yeah, ninjas versus Phyrexians.
Okay, so numbers. Phyrexians are the number 17 seed with 12,476 decks. Ninjas are 31 with
Really?
5,129.
Just
That's. I genuinely thought ninjas were more.
So, here is where
Give us the
some of
stats.
the recency bias will also come into it, because ninjas did not have a good commander for themselves up until Yuriko.
and then it's been Yuriko. Still, yeah.
Still a Yuriko.
It was only when Neo gave us a few more options in like Satoru Umezawa and things like that. There were legendary like Maro Nora and Inkais were your previous options if you didn't.
Yeah, okay, I see why
and
this is.
then they were not like ninja specific.
And Phyrexians have obviously had a lot recently.
And yes, Phyrexian the Phyrexian arc has bolstered the support that Phyrexians have had, and this is where also the recency issue is.
I can't see a category where Phyrexians don't win this, but let's go through it.
So, I agree. I genuinely think, they are going to beat. It's like handedly beat this. Like tiers for teamwork. Ninjas, there are some that boost one another, but actually because you tend to be bouncing them, they don't necessarily get
predominantly. I would say that what ninjas do is ninjutsu, which isn't necessarily to do with ninjas.
No,
It's
but
an
what, I mean,
on-card ability.
exactly.
There's not a lot of like support for ninjas as a creature type, buffing each other, doing stuff with ninjas. Like you say, it's a lot of like return.
No, there are one or two ninja lords, but mostly the whole point of being a ninja is that you're playing alone.
Yeah, you're playing ninjutsu.
I kind of want them to be exalted, kind of.
Yeah,
but
You more care about like enter the battlefild effects and evasion and stuff, which is all to do with like the ninja play pattern. But teamwork,
I think they're bad. I think it's a 2. Just do they just don't work well together.
I think you're right. We gave shapeshifters 1. I think
they are better than shapeshifters.
No,
just for a bit more breathing space, I would say a 3. There's some stuff. There might be room for a 2 later. I don't.
Phyrexians at teamwork. I think
good. I
think they are good. I don't really know. I'm trying to think what there is, but there's a lot of Phyrexians you control get +1/+1 from.
Well, there weren't very many. There are more so now. Like that being said, there's only a handful, but there are things like Sculpted Perfection, which gives Phyrexian +1/+1. You've got ancillary things off rather than necessarily creatures per se. Whether or not you go with original Elesh Norngran Cenobite, all your creatures get +2/+2, all your opponent's creatures get -2/-2.
I think they're more like mechanically flavored, a bit like ninjas. They often revolve around counters.
Yeah,
like either it's infect or like they incubate things. And you put
they do.
They don't necessarily support each other as a creature type, but they
there is a lot. I like good use of the word.
Which maybe comes more into it with expected results.
So
I don't know.
I mean, Cryptic obviously raises the point, and as we said, spoke to the recency bias because of the errata. Because Phyrexians as a creature type did not exist until Kaldheim.
Yeah.
This also plays to that recency bias about data, but given that we're only looking at the last 2 years anyway, and Kaldheim is more than 2 years ago now.
It's true.
The errata has basically opened up a bunch of avenues which it didn't, and the one I'm going to push here on the teamwork side is golems, because all of the splicers from the Scars of Mirrodin block are now Phyrexians. And all of those create Phyrexian golems.
That's true, but I would say
that set, you have all those synergies that now come to the fore.
Yeah, and I would say that the Phyrexian strategy tends to be infect and proliferate, and they do that very well. They both do that very well.
Yeah, that's what I mean about like being mechanically very
mechanically so.
Not necessarily creature type supported.
That's true. I'm
struggling to category specific,
and I think you are right, because I'm struggling to find a creature that says Phyrexians you control get X.
Yeah,
I feel like a good reference point for teamwork is slivers are a 10. There is no discussion.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Yeah.
So, but everything else, they don't necessarily synergize with each other because they're Phyrexians.
Yeah, I agree. So I think they are marginally better than ninjas, but not by much in this category.
Yeah, I think so
I would put Phyrexians on a 5 for teamwork.
I'd probably actually go 4, but
I would also go 4. Actually, I would agree with John in this case.
Okay.
For being democratic about it.
Yeah. There are some, but there are some Glister Herald of Perdition, but
there aren't many of those.
Expected results.
Expected results. I agree.
Ninjas, they are
way
stronger than their teamwork would say.
Yes, because your expected results.
They're very
mechanically
consistent.
they are very good and very consistent.
Yes,
clear, quite easy to execute game plan of evasion and oh no, it's this now and whatever, whatever that does. So what did we put?
So we gave zombies and fairies 7.
I think this is probably
an
par.
8. Because I
don't know.
Top end it can be Yuriko can be very consistent.
But all the other the ninja payoffs that you get, because you are looking to prioritize combat damage and getting combat through, so you're running a whole load of evasion, so you're running things that give your creatures unblockable, you're running things that give them hexproof and indestructible and all of those sorts of things.
It's true.
You are looking to maximize how much damage you are getting in, and the payoffs for that.
A lot of them are small, 1 power or even 0. You'll happily play an Ornithopter, so it's not blocked, or you make it unblockable.
But the Ornithopter isn't
about the damage.
But that builds up.
Well, I mean, for that play pattern, it doesn't.
You're looking to get the effects off that. But also small damage over time adds up.
And there's something to be said that Yuriko, which is of the object best ninja commander, because there are, for ninja commander specifically, they're 3,500, and then the next most popular ninja commander is Satoru Umezawa at 300.
Yeah, because that gives you
more than 10 times
more.
But
in terms of your pairs, the original ninja's not great because something Oni was Marinora was one of your best payoffs, because that's when on combat damage destroy a target creature. You had the put something into play. You had the draw a card. So your options were limited up until new
Neon Dynasty,
the new Kamigawa.
And there are a lot that are really good in that set. Thousand Face Shadow, Prosperous Thief, that was Modern Horizons Ingenious Infiltrator. But since then there have been quite a significant jump.
Oh, there's things like Fallen Shinobi, and there's some very, very good, strong cards. Nashi is really good.
Nashi is very good, I'd say, as a game plan, they are very good at executing what they do. They're quick, they're cheap as well, because you are often not paying the mana cost, you are paying the ninjutsu cost, which is often at least the same or cheaper. There's a few exceptions.
Yeah, I think expected results wise, like you can build a strong deck and very synergistic.
I think
deck
you can
based
now.
around
You
ninjas.
couldn't previously.
Well,
I think
we're talking about now.
I
So
think this is
high.
a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I think Cryptic, you are right, but that is like when we get to across the spectrum, they are low on the spectrum. But I think we are not there yet.
That is definitely a downfall of ninjas.
So expected results, yeah, they are probably a 7, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And Phyrexians, they do two things, don't they?
Consistent.
They do two things consistently, which is infect and proliferate. They do those things well.
No, I'm not disputing that. I think that we have seen a broader range of Phyrexian strategies. Like for example, each of the praetors, has their own very specific has their own specific line. Remember, Atraxa has
is the de facto Phyrexian commander based on this list, but you are right, there are more, but the commanders that, because of what you're trying to accomplish, they tend not to be monocolored, so you tend not to have the Elish Norn as the Phyrexian commander. You have Atraxa or Brimaz or Ixhel.
I mean, there are a lot of legendary Phyrexians.
There are a lot of legendary Phyrexians.
Three of each of the monocolored ones, and
a
whole bunch of like multicolored ones.
But
so you can have quite a lot of flexibility in how you want to go about it. In terms of it being like a Kindred deck, though, you do have to lean into what they do similar to each other, which, like you say, John, I think is like proliferate counters.
Proliferate counters, artifacts.
They're all just nasty. Just play nasty creature after nasty creature, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think, however, and this is the big however, right? Infect only works well if you can connect.
Yeah.
I guess in a similar way as ninjutsu, but you are generally there's no one playing Ornithopter in these because Ornithopter isn't good enough. It doesn't have infect. It doesn't have toxic. But for ninjas, because the ninjutsus are cheap enough and it's a 0-drop Ornithopter is great.
I think what Phyrexians do best is present a series of very annoying creatures. That doesn't necessarily make them your expected results very good. Like if you get shut down, then okay, fine.
Yeah,
there are a lot of annoying
I think
cards are
Infect and
but it doesn't
Toxic
necessarily make a good strategy.
Infect and Toxic are powerful mechanics because they bring the game out to a conclusion earlier, but they are hard to implement. They are very difficult to pull off because, like, if I said, like, for example, Joe, in my Pauper EDH deck for Black Blossom 3, there's 2 Infect cards. Very powerful. But it's really hard because the minute I start to try to give that Infect, everyone's going on Red Alert and trying to deal with me or my stuff because it's Red Alert immediately. And there's 3 other people that are going to...
Any Infect thing is a huge lightning rod.
Yeah, I think Furball, I think Alison also raised that point because the
Incubate is more of a proliferation thing.
Yeah, but it also speaks to the artifact strategy, which is also a strong part of things.
Brimaz does a lot of incubate stuff.
I would say that in terms of your overall game plan, that Phyrexian is probably a 7 as well. I think they're on par.
Well, I agree, and I agree for a very different reason. I think because we're saying ninjas are very good at doing one thing. Phyrexians are mediocre at 2 things.
I think that's a little unfair, but I think that I don't think that it's higher than a 7.
I would say 6.
I think I kind of want to put it at a 6 because I think doing one thing well is better than doing 2 things slightly
I think, generally speaking, a ninja's deck is, built. I'm not going to say correctly, just built well, is going to be able to win more games than a Phyrexian.
I guess
ninjas are good at one rubbish thing.
And I don't mean an infect deck. I mean a Phyrexian's deck, which will naturally lean into doing something similar to itself. But
okay, sure, I'll concede that point.
Yeah.
But,
and they're not a lot different. I'm not saying it's like a 3 or something. It's going to be like quite a good deck because, like I say, there's a lot of really annoying creatures, and you're going to put down a Shieldred, then you're going to put down a Elishnorn, and then you're going to put down a Jingataxis. Even if they deal with those, it's still really annoying that you have to deal with each of these individually. Otherwise, you can't really play the game. So, yeah, it's a good way to play.
Yeah, I think 32 was ambitious.
We're going until 1 in the morning, John.
Okay, so we may want to make a decision here. Do we do the top half now and come back to the back to the bottom half?
Maybe we'll get through this top half and then decide, because we are 90 minutes. Turns out, chat, we talk a lot. Anyway,
turns out Cannon Fire is a very ambitious podcaster.
Across. Right, command zone power is next, and I think Phyrexian's going to have ninjas beat on this.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, I'm going. Did you say Phyrexians have ninjas beat?
Yes,
I'm going to disagree. Yeah,
make your case.
So, my case here is that specifically for Kindred decks,
sure,
your commander here, even as limited as we are saying with Yuriko and Satoru, your commander supports what you are looking to do in your deck, whereas the Phyrexian commanders are not necessarily supporting Phyrexians.
They're not necessarily
supporting teamwork category.
That's the teamwork category,
but,
and there is a degree to that.
Yeah,
but so Phyrexians, we've already said, want to infect, proliferate, or incubate, and we have Attractor which proliferates. We have Brimaz that incubates. We have Ixel who has toxic and is corrupted. We have 3 distinct commanders that are good across that. We have Yuriko. Like, that is, I think that speaks to it, that there is more of a decision, like, and this will feed into our next category, but I think the fact that we just have more of a broader choice of commanders that support our game plan for Phyrexians is better than having one that's just, that sort of does it.
I think ninjas kind of have a similar thing going as changelings, in that Yuriko is by far the best choice.
Yeah, like
Yuriko is such a good card. But
Satoru is there to put an Ornithopter out and change it into an Eldrazi. that's what that's for.
I would say Phyrexians have a similar thing going as zombies, that there's a few good choices. Like really, really solid choices. There are quite a lot more that you wouldn't necessarily run as commander, like the monocolored Phyrexians. Like, not for this kind of deck, not in a Kindred theme. So I'm kind of equating them to those that we've looked at before, and I can't remember what scores we gave them. But I would almost want to put ninjas down with shapeshifters in terms of, you've got this card. Good luck.
Yes,
sure.
Exactly.
I'm okay with that being a 3.
Yeah, a 3.
Okay, cool.
I agree. Phyrexians are better, but
what was
I wouldn't
zombies?
say
Zombies we gave a 7.
I think Phyrexians are probably a 5. I think they're
it's
good.
maybe not as high as a 7.
Yeah.
There are better individual, like, zombie Kindred commanders. Like you say, for Phyrexians, you're not supporting Kindred so much, but you are supporting. Well, Brimaz is that. It's whenever you cast a Phyrexian creature or artifact.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of some support.
You are, but I'd say I think maybe it's probably a 6, a 5 or a 6.
Yeah,
maybe a 5 actually.
5.
Middle of the road.
Across the spectrum, ninjas dog shit.
Really limited in colors, really limited in choice of creatures.
Yeah, if you are looking at
two
ninja,
at a posh.
If you're looking at Ninja Typal, you are blue and black. You are not outside of that, and your pool is extremely limited. We're probably looking at a 1 or a 2 here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that Yuriko is doing so much heavy lifting for just even being in the discussion.
She is a game changer for a reason, right? But
yeah,
that's maybe this is an argument to like You can quote me on that, Cryptic Ninjas dog shit.
My Vela deck. Well, actually, that's case in point. My Ninja's Typal deck is helmed by Vela the Nightclad.
Yeah, yeah. So, lost my train of thought there.
But I think like Phyrexians have
a surprising amount, I'd say.
So they have a wider
there's
pool.
A lot more recent support.
They have a wider pool because of the recent stuff. But when you look at that, and because of the errata to the Phyrexian type, you have 7-8 sets worth of creatures across all 5 colors.
Yeah, I think they're actually quite good.
They're a major big bad. There's quite a lot of stuff for them now.
Admittedly, like you are probably pushing towards like white black on a number of fronts.
Yeah.
More so than the others. But we got plenty of Copper Host in like the Mirrodin sets and the and All Will Be One and a bit of Kaldheim and things like that. So I think the pool is wide, and the pool is not exactly shallow. Like it's not the deepest.
No, it's not the deepest, but it's deeper than I expected.
I think that this is a 5.
I think it's a bit more than a 5.
I think more than 5 as
well.
I
think it's 6. I'd give it a 6. Yeah.
The thing, this is where I think we may have made a mistake with zombies, because we gave zombies a 6, and I think the pool is not as big as zombies.
We could downgrade that. I mean, it doesn't. We actually.
It won't change the result in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, exactly.
Do we? Sorry,
across the spectrum for zombies, I think should be like a 5 at best. They've got a lot of history, but not a lot of breadth otherwise.
Yeah, I agree.
So 5 for Phyrexians.
No, 6 for Phyrexians, 5 for zombies.
Yeah, I think 6. They've got a lot more recent support, which tends to be like multicolored and stuff.
But there are so many more zombies than there are Phyrexians.
Maybe that does just make it about even, right? Because there are much more zombies.
5 apiece.
5 apiece. Oof. I feel our metrics are wobbling a lot.
I mean, it's always going to be vibes at the end of the day.
I agree with you there, Cribby. I like both attractors.
I like both attractors.
I find them overbuilt, which is why I have not tried doing them.
Yeah, too popular.
I dislike them because they are too popular, not because of their ability.
I used Attractor for a strange tribal that we'll get to at some point.
Yeah, and people still hated it, which is my thing.
Yeah, people still hated it purely because it was Detraxer, even though it was objectively a terrible
like it's when I had Nekazar helming my zombie mill deck, because he's a zombie, but people did not focus on that.
I don't like Nekazar. Anyway,
long lasting, how going to be against board wipe? I think probably both fairly.
They're both fairly middling, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they both have access to black, they both have access to reanimation. Ninjas might actually have the slight edge because
you can bounce them back.
Because you are constantly bouncing them, and you are playing general bounce strategy.
Shade better. You can
I'd probably say
I'd probably put them at the same rate as Fair.
That's where I was
going.
So
they're 6 and Phyrexians are 5.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, final score then.
Okay, so in Ninjas versus Phyrexians, Ninjas score 21 out of 50 and Phyrexians score 25, straight down the middle, and take this match.
Okay, right. Next.
Okay, well, this is
Insect versus Eldrazi.
Okay, here are your numbers.
Surely
this is going to go.
Yeah.
which way round do you think that this seeding is?
Eldrazi are much more popular than Insects.
Sure. Yeah. So Insects are number 30 with 5,410, and Eldrazi are number 7 with 27,446.
Yeah, this Eldrazi are very popular.
Like,
but also
two
mostly thanks to
precons
two
will do a lot
precons.
of-
Yes.
Yeah, and they were back to back as well.
Two
Like,
precons which have given them heavy, which have given the heavy lifting because you
And a
finally
set.
have
As well.
Yeah.
options outside of the 3 titans
Yeah,
to
colourless,
pick
yeah.
because you had 6 options before the first Commander Masters precon. You had 6 options for an Eldrazi commander. Or you had 5 options because one of them was banned.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you had 1 Emrakul, 2 Ulamogs, and 2 Kozileks, and even then, you probably weren't
You
playing
had
the original
Animar
2.
kind of, but that's not really.
You probably weren't playing the original 2 Titans because of Annihilator.
Dromar? Which was Dromar?
No. And so the precons gave us a few more options, and now we're looking at, like, if we're looking at in just terms of commanders, there are 16 legendary insects and 11 viable Eldrazi legendaries.
Okay.
Because you can do mono red Eldrazi with Heragast.
Right, yeah. Right. Okay, so
Yeah. So teamwork.
Eldrazi, there is Ulalek, which is very teamwork focused, but the rest of it seems to be actually more about colorless stuff.
Azlask is also quite teamwork focused.
Yeah.
He cares about science and
Oh, he
sports,
does
which are
kinda-
inherently
yeah, that's
Eldrazi. That's an
true.
Eldrazi
Yeah.
specific.
But
strategy.
after that, you have got Juladok, which is actually just big colorless spells. Kozilek, which I feel is just
Control,
focused about
weirdly.
getting control. So that doesn't really support Eldrazi in a sense. And then I'm not talking about Morophon. Ulamog is the next one, which again is just control. Ulamog again, Emrakul, Kozilek. Like, it is all very much the same after that.
Yeah,
So I think actually as a support thing, they're not actually great. You've got 2 that care about.
You've got a few other synergies further down the line, but you're looking mostly at the fact that you're pulling devoid synergies out of Oath of the Gatewatch and Battle for Zendikar, or you are looking at overall colorless synergies, most of which came from the precons. Bolstering that. So in terms of overall teamwork, it probably fits that this is fairly low. Maybe it's around a 3 or a 4. Like
I think I kind of want to give it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's very mechanically centered. Like say around colorless stuff or.
Yeah, like there aren't exactly
off colorless things.
There aren't exactly Eldrazi lords. Which
There's
kind of plays to the fact
on the command zone. But,
kind of plays to the fact that mostly the broods don't work with each other.
Yeah.
So flavorfully, that's kind of right.
But insects, on the other hand, are surprisingly good at teamwork, actually, because you've got Grist that cares about insects and getting them from the graveyard. Zask that lets you cast insects from the graveyard, and if one dies, then it actually goes to the bottom of the library. Zera makes insects. Restin.
There's plenty of things that make insects or
makes insects
like
stronger.
Insect Lord things as much as I hate them. But you have got a lot more support. You've got a lot broader support for insects as a type than you do Eldrazi. Yeah. I would probably push this up to about a 4 or a 5. Maybe
I'd give it a 5. 5 is where I'm thinking for this.
Where did we put fairies for?
We put fairies at 4.
I think this, looking at the commanders that we currently have at teamwork and the cards that there are lords out there.
There are a lot of cards that make insect tokens. And
Yeah,
things.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly, and they work
So,
off
yeah,
like either
yes,
insects dying or
better
like
than fairies.
it plays into the aristocrat strategy where you want to where you want your insect tokens to die or do something or swarm.
Yeah, I think 5 is fine.
Sounds good.
Okay. Expected results. Eldrazi is pretty straightforward, I guess. It's get the big fatties out and smash face.
But I think it's very consistent.
It's very consistent because
So,
they tend to be colorless, so it's perfect mana base every time. Insects seems a bit weird. I feel
I don't have a lot of experience, to be honest.
No, I don't actually.
I don't
but
think
it seems to be a token strategy.
I don't think there is really the payoff is in what your commander wants to do with insects. It's not
rather than insects. Yeah, I think it does not. They do a lot of different things. They do a lot of making tokens. They do a lot, and then there's some that pump those tokens. There's some that care about you sacrificing those tokens. They are good at those. Like Cathrol gives them keywords.
Yeah, and remember the insects are often flying, often in colors which don't usually get it.
Yeah, I think insects are good, and there's a lot of strategies there. Are we?
But are those consistent? Like, is your expected payoff, your expected result really strong outside?
I'd argue. I mean, I'd argue that because you are in green all of the time, that you can ramp just as hard as you can with the colorless.
So do we put Eldrazi and Insect on the same rank, but for different reasons?
I genuinely think so. Yeah, because Eldrazi are consistent. There's no arguing that, and they are easy to get out. But Insects, I'd argue, are, even though there seems to be a lot of different strategies, it's easy to do as well. I think so.
So where do we want to put this? 6s?
Yeah. What did we give Phyrexians for?
Phyrexians got a 6.
Yeah, I would say about there.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. Oh, this is much quicker. Command zone power. So how well do the commanders support the rest of the 99? And
I think this is probably a strong win for Eldrazi because you are just.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I think your Eldrazi commander is directing is directing almost everything that you are doing. So your power is coming pretty much out of your command zone.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's marginal though, actually, because whilst the Eldrazi stuff is strong, I think that a lot of these insects here, we've got Amzu, which gives the menace. We've got the Swarm Weaver, which creates them when it enters. So
I guess I think
the commanders themselves actually support the insects, whereas
there are
literally 2 that care about actual Eldrazi. You could argue Julador because Eldrazi's are expensive.
I think you've talked me around, and I think I forgot myself with what I argued in previous categories.
But the power of those 3 Eldrazi is substantial.
They are substantial. They are strong, but I do think
even Aslask, I think, is objectively worse than the other 2. Is pretty good. I've played against that deck, and it dealt a lot of damage to me.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
X is
that was Sarek's deck.
Experience counters are just annoying. That's more experience counters than anything.
Yeah.
So
but it was good. I don't know. They're strong commanders, and we're talking about power
of the command zone. Yeah,
they are strong.
I think we're looking at 5 for Eldrazi, 6 for insects, because as you say, the things which the commanders which are supporting an insect strategy are often very good at doing that and at supporting the thing. And as you say, are often in green. You're more than likely in green. Blex is one.
Blex.
Because although because there are 16 legendary insects, but most of your insect type is not coming off that. You're playing Blex. You're playing that tree creature from Duskmourn.
Don't know. I can't think what that one is.
Yeah, it was in the it was the secondary commander to Winter in the Swarm Lord.
No, no, that is it. Yeah, it's the Swarm Weaver.
Swarm Weaver, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, and as Crypto says, Fumulus, the vampire insect. From Jumpstart.
I do think that insects are better than Eldrazi in the command zone, as in the way that they support the Kindred deck. Okay, so next
5 versus 7 or 5 and 6.
I think 5 versus 6.
Okay,
I would say 6 for insects.
Across the spectrum, Eldrazi are either colorless or 5 colors. It's one of the two. And insects, they're not that deep, actually. Whilst you can have them across all spectrums, it is very green heavy, and then it's very black heavy, and then it's Jund.
Such a late phase.
You get a slight deviation for the insect god, for the locust god. So this is where I'm going to say, I think because you've got access to Devoid for Eldrazi, they are slightly better than ninjas. So we put them at a 3. And insects are maybe a 4.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Hello, Pepper. So
because again, whilst they might also be slightly wider, their pool is not as deep.
Yes,
they are less deep than Phyrexians.
Yep. Okay. Lock it in.
Okay.
Oh, plowing through this one and long lasting. I think if you remove an Eldrazi, there are some that shuffle it into his deck, but actually, it's really hard to come back from a board wipe.
Yes. I think because a lot of your things are big and things, and you're not really playing things like generally Eldrazi decks are not playing like the processors out of the Gatewatch and such.
I will say they tend to accrue quite a lot of mana.
They do,
like you tend to be ramping with mana rocks like quite aggressively, so you can play your big 7+ cost spells.
True.
As long as you have cards in hand, you'll be able to play some of them.
This is also
on your next turn.
This is also where insects have them beat, because insects are usually in green, so you have over ramped anyway.
Insects are a little bit like zombies in terms.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think zombies are way better.
They've got that strategy going on anyway.
I think insects are way better at this than Eldrazi.
Yeah. So
Pepper, I love you. Please stop eating my beard.
Here's what I'm going to put. Here's what I'm going to propose. I'm going to propose Eldrazi at 4, because I don't think because they often cost more than comparable. Whilst you may be able to get them out again, you are rarely casting your commander 3 times. Or such.
Yeah, sure.
And I think we've got insects at maybe a 7 actually. Mostly for the fact that you're in green. Insects are swarms.
Green and black.
You generate them. Yeah. You generate them very quickly off tokens.
Wait, we got through that. Yeah, I agree with you there, and we got through that very quickly. What is the final score?
Okay,
insects have got to have won, right?
Our final score in Insect versus Eldrazi is Eldrazi 21, Insects 28.
Yeah, get it.
Much as my entomophobia hates that, Insects beat Eldrazi.
Hey, I'm all for the underdog. Next, we've got Angels versus Dinosaurs.
I'm very pleased with that.
Okay,
this is going to be a tricky one, I think.
This is actually hard.
This is a tricky one numbers-wise as well. So, Angels are ranked 9 with 23,288 decks. Dinosaurs are ranked 5 with 31,624.
This is tricky. So, teamwork, I think they're both very good at this, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just are both very good. I don't think any one of them is better than the other. They are both very good.
I think they actually work on very similar axes. Admittedly, Dinosaurs did not have much support until Ixalan. But when that did happen, we did get a lot of wide-ranging, because the engage mechanic really helped tie dinosaurs together mechanically, which also helped give them their their identity and their synergies. And whilst there aren't huge numbers of like dinosaur lords, there aren't actually huge numbers of angel lords either.
No,
specifically angel lords. There are angels which are general anthem effects,
but ones that say angels you can
specifically
get.
Angels, is about on par, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you've got more recently names already escaping mine. Oh, what is the name?
Well, Giada.
Yeah, Giada. And then I think before then, it was probably Avacyn, but that's not.
But
really
Avacyn doesn't specifically speak to angels.
That's Lysa Dawnbringer or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Lysa.
Lyra Dawnbringer. Yeah, from Dominaria.
So I think these are both equally as good as one another in this category specifically. They are both very good at teamwork. And I think
they're actually both 5s or they're both 6s.
I think they're both 6s is what I'm getting at, because they do support each other well enough, but there's not tons of it.
No.
Yeah.
I guess also because they are on the whole slightly bigger than generally speaking. They are things like angel and here's the thing, angel teamwork tends to be for broader, but dinosaurs are often a bit more specific.
Yeah, I mean, you've got quite a lot. I mean, maybe this lends more into your expected strategy, the next one, but there is a lot more in dinosaurs with making more dinosaurs, or removing stuff when a dinosaur enters, or discover when a dinosaur enters. You know, there's a lot more of when a dinosaur enters, do a thing, whereas angels is very much a case of your angels get extra protein.
And they have flying.
And they have flying, yeah. They're flying in a swall.
They're good creatures. Rather than being like good with.
So I do actually think that dinosaurs have angels beat on this category marginally.
Me too.
Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, I'm just having a look through more of dinosaurs helping dinosaurs as opposed to angels helping angels, and yeah.
And a lot of the things you're gonna have, it's probably going to be from your commander for dinosaurs, but there are which we'll get to.
Yeah,
a different category, but there's some very strong dinosaur-centric. Like, it really cares about having dinosaurs. It's not just a buff or something. There's some very strong dinosaur support.
Okay, yeah. We'll put Angel at 5, Dinosaur at 6.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay,
right. But I do just want to say to the one person who's built a Ragost Angels deck.
Oh wow!
You're a hero.
No, actually no, because I actually, you know what? I think that's a bit cheaty because angels are very strongly about lifelink.
Yeah, I know, so but he's just has nothing to do with it anyway. Speaking of, our next type is expected results or strategy.
Yeah, Polyraptor is immensely expensive, but that speaks to the enrage mechanic doing its work.
So they are, I'd say, very similar in their game plan, which is to assemble a large board. Angels have more flyers, but dinosaurs, there are flyers. And there is more variety in the way that you can get your dinosaurs on the board than there are angels. There aren't, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think there's any play an angel, get another one from your deck, but there is that in dinosaurs.
But angels have better token producers and more things which trigger, like when you play an enchantment, Throne of the Empty Sigil of the Empty Throne, your de facto angel creating enchantment in almost all Enchantress decks. There is, broadly speaking, there is more angel payoff than there is dinosaur
agree.
Payoff.
Yeah,
and that is what
just
your
very
game plan
strong in like breadth of angel creatures. Like Archangel of Tides is just really irritating. There's so many angels that give lifelink and benefit off life gain, and
I think your angel game plan is stronger than a dinosaur game plan. Broadly speaking, well, whilst the dinosaur game plan might be more flexible, I think your expected result is your angels are more evasive, because surprisingly fewer dinosaurs have trample than you would think.
That's insane.
Dinosaurs, you care about like one specific dinosaur. You might have a lot of dinosaurs, but like kill the Gishath and you don't get going, or kill the Polyraptor and you don't get going. Whereas like killing an individual angel is going to take out one bit, but they're just good.
Bear with me, chat. I just need to let the cat out the bedroom door. Bear with me 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem.
And yeah, like your dinosaur game plans often are not specific. Whilst they work well together, you're not often specifically dinosaur, because, like, for example, the Atalis don't necessarily care about other dinosaurs, but they are probably some of the more
same with Zakama,
some of the more popular.
Zakama is just like a big, expensive Naya creature.
Yeah,
but it's not to do with dinosaurs specifically.
It's true.
I mean, Cryptic can attest to that with the Zakama Enchantress.
It's a control deck. When you've got the Zakama out and the mana to do stuff, no one has any things anymore.
Angels are very much about gain life, pump your creatures with the life gain sort of stuff, aren't they?
I think Angels would be more consistent, so in terms of expected results.
So this is where I think Angels are about. I think Angels are a 7 and Dinosaurs are a 5.
I think Dinosaurs are a 6, actually, because
I would go with 6.
Because I'd argue that that you can get to your game plan often quicker because of the access to green.
Yeah. And if you get like Pantlaza to stick, it generates you so much value. Again, that's very consistent as well.
Okay.
I know it's commander dependent, but
command zone power is next, so the support from the command zone specifically.
I think dinosaurs have angels beat. I know angels have a lot of legendaries, but they're not necessarily good commanders. Whereas there's some very good dinosaur commanders.
So the dinosaur commanders tend to be Pantlaza is the best one.
Yeah, I'd say your dinosaurs are more often speaking to dinosaurs out of the command zone than your angels are. Like Giada is going to be the primary one here. Lyra Dawnbringer, second.
Kalia is kind of the next one.
Yeah, and Kalia of the Vast.
You can just do angels for Kalia if you want.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Because Tariel doesn't specifically speak to angels. Safara is more about flying creatures per se than angels specifically. And then you've got like the Abyssinian angels, which don't necessarily speak to angels.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of legendary angels, not necessarily ones you want run as commander.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are plenty you would, but not specifically because they are angels. Like Aurelia the War Leader, for example, you're not running because she is an angel.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so dinosaurs.
I think dinosaurs have it.
Yep, I agree.
So power out of the command zone and supporting your 99. I think angels are probably a 5.
Yeah,
here.
I think so too.
And I think dinosaurs are a 6 here.
I would kind of put dinosaurs as a 7.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would.
Think
on the basis of Pantlaza and Gishath are so good in terms of dinosaur synergy. If you get, again, if you have to get them to stick, but they give you so much more for having dinosaurs. Gishath, you look at the top, 7. Dinosaurs just come in. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
What were you going to say? We put them equal to something else that's a 7.
So the other 7s we've given are zombies and fairies.
And I think that is actually that. I think
that's okay. Yeah, because again, they've got a couple of strong options, maybe a couple more, but I think that they're about comparable.
Okay, across the spectrum. There are more angels than dinosaurs. That doesn't mean they're good.
But you do have angels. So here's the interesting thing. You can have angels in all. You do have angels in all 5 colors.
Yes, you do.
Not necessarily monocolor. There is no mono green angel, for example.
No, but yeah,
there are
Sagada is
and you will
green-white
often find green-white angels is a color strategy that is pursued. Dinosaurs are not. Dinosaurs are Naya. There
is nothing past Naya.
There are very few. There's Netherhal is a mono blue.
No, there's blue ones, a couple of blue ones.
Yeah, so Indoraptor and
the Jurassic Park kind of.
The Jurassic Park ones, Indominus
Rex.
Yeah, blue.
Give you access to blue and such, but they're blue, green, and
but primarily they are
Naya.
Primarily it's Naya, and angels do have greater depth as well because they have been supported for longer.
They've been around.
They're an alpha. They're an
Angel
alpha type.
Sarah Angel,
the most iconic. Here is where I think angels have you beat. The one issue is that if you are running an angel commander, there is only one angel that does not have white in their color identity.
Sure.
Is that Shulgengar? No, that's an Elder Demon. So
no, it's I'd say if you're running pure, because obviously Shulgengar is
Rudolph.
Angel.
No, that's got white.
Rodolph is a vampire angel. It's a Chroma, Angel of Fury. Is
mono red.
Of course it
is mono red.
Every other angel, legendary angel, has white in their color identity.
Cool.
But yeah, I think here is where we have got.
I think this is going to be a 7 and a 6 again, but the other way around.
I don't think it's a 6. I think it's a 5 for a dinosaur because
fair enough.
Whilst they have been around since Alpha, they're not very many printed. Whereas every
an Alpha dinosaur, because
almost every set has at least one angel. So then we're on to long.
Okay.
Resiliency.
What scores did we give for across the spectrum?
7 and 5.
7 for angels.
Yes.
I just feel they're very limited. They are predominantly white. I know you say like there are angels of every color, or potentially in every color. You are looking at mostly white, though.
Oh, true, but they are. But there
7
is also
feels quite high. I know there's again a long history.
Yeah, and it's
what did we give zombies for this? Because again, there was a similar thing of being very color restricted.
Oh, we pushed zombies down to 5, and I don't think that's right. I don't like. But that being said, I think
did we adjust zombies after the fact? Is this the one we pushed down for zombies? Maybe that should be a 6, but I would argue for angels being a 6 as well.
Sure,
based on color restriction, not necessarily like history, because like you say, there's so many.
Fair enough.
That is a good point of there being just a lot of.
But also, you get better angels lower down than you do zombies. Your lower and cheaper angels are often better than your lower and cheaper zombies.
Yeah, they are good. Which again, it goes into.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do 6 and 5. I feel our metrics are getting a bit skewed, but never mind.
I want to try and keep it consistent with.
That's
what
the fun is. Tell us in the comments how wrong we are.
Yeah, tell us how wrong we are. We
everything's wrong, don't we?
Yeah. It's objective. No one can comment. Yeah, it's
so
long lasting. How quickly do they bounce back from a board wipe or removal spell? This is tough.
This is tough because I think both your good angels and your good dinosaurs are expensive.
Yeah, agree.
I'd say that dinosaurs probably have them. Angels beat slightly because
they're in green. Yes, again, it comes down
only because of that. I think that is genuinely the only reason why.
And this speaks to your point, Joe, of angels being primarily in white. White not known for ramp. It's getting better.
Yeah,
it's still not on green levels though.
I suppose white has access to.
White has the protection spells. True,
it does.
There is a bit of cost reduction as well in angels,
and but also in dinosaurs. That's
true. That's true. And they have green as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I'd say that white tends to have more permanents you control, having indestructibility, like then.
And again, there's a couple for angels specifically.
But the problem we have here is that angels are primarily mono white, and dinosaurs are primarily Naya, which also have access to all the stuff that you want from mono white. So it's always going to be better because it's just got access to more.
So are we? But it's whether or not you are running them, because you are not running. You are often not running white primarily in your Naya deck. You are running.
No,
you're
it's
running
true.
red-green dinosaurs with a splash of white.
Yes, true.
I think
mana sources to cast your commander.
I think here then we're going with maybe 5 for angel and 6 for dinosaur.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, are we just basing that off the fact that they have more
Vibes.
access to mana?
Vibes.
Yeah,
well, there isn't.
No,
Dinosaurs and angels don't actually protect themselves that much. Like, they're very good at attacking, but
I would kind of put both of them as 5s. Just
Yeah.
very,
I
like,
think
middle
you
of the
have
road,
to
very
give-
average, very normal.
your protection suite is different. Like you're running different protection suites for them, but
I would
guess-
argue
I don't
that
think either
giving
is to do with the creature type, though. In any
no,
way.
but the
Yeah.
fact that you're right. But I think the fact that you have access to more mana just means that you can build back your board quicker. That's all it is.
Okay, I'll go with it.
okay. So 5 for angel, 6 for dinosaur.
Sure.
Our
Okay.
final scores are angels 28, dinosaurs 30.
Close.
Oh, that was close.
I think in the event of a tie, we just vote tiebreaker because the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Right. Next we
Okay.
have birds and spiders, which is
So,
wild.
Both
Obviously,
of them,
birds eat spiders, so.
both of them are
think this is
low
gonna
down
be-
the list. Birds are ranked 29 with 5,686. Spiders are ranked 32. They just narrowly crept into this list on 4,979.
Much to your dismay.
Now,
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
here is where our discussion is going to have to be a little bit based on what is current. So
Yes, because the Spider-Man is going to skew this later.
birds currently have 37 legendary commanders. Spiders have 5 plus 3 plus 3 with 3 non-spiders which have spider synergies.
Yes.
That is going to change in the very near future,
Yep.
and spiders are almost certainly going to rocket up the ranking list.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, they just will because the Spider-Man.
But
It's just
I am also not going to be able because I'm not really going to look at the spider-related cards, 2 of which are Shelob,
yeah.
because of my chronic arachnophobia chat.
That's what,
I think this is actually and I think this is close. Like in terms of teamwork,
there are quite. There's quite a few birds.
Can I just mention one thing as well
Go.
in terms of the stats?
Yeah.
For the 4,900 spider decks, 4,200 are Shelob, Child of Ungoliant.
And then it's
Some-
200.
Yeah.
Most of the spider decks are just that one commander.
Yes.
I'm really surprised because I thought it would have been Ishkanar. Because Ishkanar was your go-to Ishkanar Graph Widow with your go-to spider commander, I guess
Like-
up until
like
Lord of the
200
Rings.
240 of those. Very,
I
very
guess
small
this
comparison.
is again where the recency bias comes into it because Lord of the Rings is way more recent than Eldritch Moon.
Yeah.
Or Shadows of Innistrad. I can't remember which one it was released in, but that block.
That's just worth bearing in mind when we're talking about spiders. We're probably just talking about Shelob, really. But yes, teamwork. Sorry, John. I kind of interrupted you.
a sec. I'm sure I just heard
Well, in that case, I think birds have quite a lot of synergy. They're very old
They are.
and it's very supportive.
I think
creature type
birds
from,
have-
again, alpha. There's been
But
birds
both of
as
them
well.
are not great,
Maybe not alpha.
but I think birds have slightly more synergy than spiders do.
Birds
Uh,
tend to
Quite a lot of
have
weird spells in birds that are like, oh, return all non-birds to hand. They've got like
Yeah.
a lot of old specific.
Yeah.
Airborne aid. Draw a card for each bird
Bird
you
you
control.
control.
Yeah, like, just really bizarre old cards that you'd never see printed
Birds-
today, and they
yeah.
only exist for birds. So I think
Birds was a solid
Okay.
typal back in Legion,
Yeah,
and there's a lot
when
of
you have
stuff.
Soraya and Kanji.
Yeah,
there's
even
there's
now
stuff
you've
like
got
tap two
Derevi,
birds you control
Kestrel.
and bounce something. And
Yeah.
like that.
But also, birds also have the edge of not strictly pumping birds, but things with flying. And birds, except from the chocobos from Final Fantasy, I can't think of a single bird that doesn't fly.
I'll be back in a moment. Carry on.
Yeah, so I think
synergy, strong flying synergy as well.
Yeah, strong. And outside of Spider is Shelob, which other spiders you control have Death Touch and Ward 2. And then when it deals, and it has the Shelob text. After that, there's not really much. There's some Ishgana create spiders. Spiders have reach.
Spiders have reach. That's something that pretty much all spiders have, let's say, in terms of mechanical identity. But
that's kind of it.
Like birds have flying, so this is kind of a nice matchup. We've got
but I do think birds have this down. I think I would give birds a
lot of history of birds.
I feel like I'm probably going to be a bit biased here because I have a Choco deck and it's sick. So, but I kind of want to give birds a 5 or a 6 and spiders a 3 or a 4.
Oh, I would say birds are definitely a 6. Like the stuff from, I don't even know what set symbol that is. Old cards, old border cards.
Invasion
that are like bird synergies. So, it goes back a long way. There's quite a lot of breadth of bird synergy. Yeah.
There's actually quite a lot. Nardu was a bird as well, and Nardu is banned.
Well, exactly. There's even a banned bird.
Even a banned bird. There's no banned spiders.
No, but genuinely,
so 6 and 4. 3? I think 3 for spiders. Actually, I think it's bad.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about.
I think it could change. I think, like we've caveated at the start, this is going to change.
That make spider tokens. I think it's better than a 3.
It will right now.
Synergy. It's not as good as Intersect, but there's enough, make 2 spider tokens and those kind of effects.
That's true, and this will.
There's not a lot of lords and buffs, that kind of thing. But
that is going to be coming out in the next.
Yeah, but we don't know what that is. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, like we're talking, as I say, three outside spiders who buff spiders, but that's about it.
So we think 6 for birds. I thought 3 for spiders. Joe thinks 4 for spiders.
I think better than 3. It's not completely devoid of synergy.
Yeah, fair.
There are some things that make more spider tokens, which obviously.
Sure.
Benefit
I mean,
from
and like your biggest thing is arachnogenesis. Who eats spider fog.
Things like Arasta as well.
Yeah,
it's quite a nice spider token generator.
Again, Swarm Weaver is such.
Yeah. Okay, so 6 and a 4, then I guess is what we're saying.
So your expected game plan.
Expected game plan. General game plan. I think they both have a very similar game plan, don't they? Which is
birds is hit people with flyers. That's a good game plan. It is.
It's a much stronger game plan than.
I don't think there is a game plan with spiders really. Yeah.
Make a few tokens that have a
it's token swarm, but in a less focused way than insects.
So I agree. I think
spiders are just a worse insect.
So I think this is going to be real easy. I think birds are probably going to be, again, a 6 on this, and spiders are going to be a 3.
I think spiders are a 2 or a 3 because there isn't really a go forward because, like as you say, Shelob, Child of Ungoliant, is the primary commander here, and that's creating food, and that's mostly going to be food decks. If that's the right one I'm thinking about, not the other.
When a spider killed a creature, that creature, you make a food copy of that creature.
Yeah,
it's an 8/8, and spiders have Death Touch and Ward 2, so it does want to have spiders.
But there is quite a lot more. Choco, which is the most recent one, is a lot stronger than Shelob, I think, because you are getting quite a lot of value for attacking with your birds.
Yeah.
And Derevi, while not synergizing with birds, is a bird, so I think that counts. Is a great commander.
Okay, so 6 and 2.
Yeah, Derevi. Bird Wizard. There's so many bird wizards as well. There's kind of
now there are.
theme in birds.
I had a whole article on that I was going to propose for, but it didn't get picked up on Typal strategies that that use that as a quote pretty much. So what are we looking here? Power out of the command zone.
Yeah, again, this is very much the same. I think there's more
Spiders have one.
Spiders have one, and birds have 1, 2, 3, 4 already, and I've not scrolled.
That specifically
like
talk to birds.
5,
Sky Warden.
6. Yeah. I think just that. Yeah, I think spiders are probably 1 or 2, and birds are still comfortably, maybe even 6 or 7, maybe.
I'm comfortable giving birds. I'm comfortable giving birds a 6. I think spiders.
I also think a 6. They're
1
not
or a 2.
7.
It's like power.
There is
2
one
because
option, and it's quite a bad option, I think.
But you see, it is an 8/8.
What did we give shapeshifters? Did we say
3
3 in the end?
But
3.
It would be 1 without Morophon. No?
Yeah. So I think I agree. This is 2. This is where I'm glad I advocated for 3 for that, for a bit more breathing space, because this slots in at 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worse than Morophon, and it's the only option. So
yeah. Okay. A is for across the spectrum. There are more birds that you can have than spiders.
Birds,
this is going to be the easiest
alpha.
category.
Red is about
like
red is about the only color that you don't get a huge number of birds in.
Zinnia is kind of
but that's Jeskai.
that's a bird with a fancy hat.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah. And Zinnia, Castrel are the commanders which have basically pushed birds a lot in over the last couple of years.
But birds is a bit like angels in terms of going back to alpha.
Yeah.
There's a lot of birds. But more colours. You genuinely do have it across like Bant properly.
Like genuinely depth and breadth wise and ability. I would actually put birds on par with angels here.
I think I would.
6.
Yeah, sure. I feel like birds edge out angels a little bit, but they're probably not better than a 6. So
I think generally speaking, because birds are slightly lower power overall, because
you don't have as much good selection of creatures. Yeah.
Okay, so and finally, long lasting
spider. What are we giving spiders on there?
2.
2. Yeah,
sure. Not that many of them.
No.
They're in Golgari.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. This is again with a caveat. If you watch this after the Spider-Man release, that we don't know what they are right now. And then last we've got long lasting. How quickly do they bounce back from a board wipe or removal? I can only attest to this from Choco. He bounced back so quick. Like I got,
but like birds have the
evasion.
evasion. Birds have the evasion. They are often smaller, cheaper. You can generate tokens relatively quickly.
The problem is spiders tend to be they just vanilla. I say vanilla. They have reach and they have a big ass, and that is all they have going for them. Generally speaking, there are a few that obviously different, but
you're probably looking at some kind of sacrificey strategy.
And zombies are
the
just
colours
better
and
at that,
making.
And fewer token, whilst they do have token generators, there are fewer token generators.
Yeah, less consistent.
They're doing aristocrats and token generating badly.
I would again rate them kind of just below insects in whatever category.
Yeah,
I think it's worse because there are fewer spider token generators than there are insect token.
It's penumbra spider. It's things that make a spider when they die or arachnogenesis.
I think it's a 4 maybe for them.
Birds,
5 or 5.
I think birds are fairly resilient. But
birds are fairly resilient because
birds
remember,
are kind of nothing special. Sorry, what were you going to say then?
No, I don't think you're necessarily wrong there, but remember, birds only moved into green really with the Final Fantasy set. They are blue-white primarily, which means you're in the colours of control.
I don't know. No, Birds of Paradise is literally an alpha card.
But we're talking about commanders here. There was the Revi,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Derevi, I think is
after-
perfectly fine for that conversation though.
Yeah,
but in terms
like,
of what
from-
your like blue white flyers is your
I agree. It is
there's
Azorius
Chris
Flies is
Sparrow before,
Azorius is my
after that, and then Akeem, which is red. Like, yeah. I've very recently moved into green. You could make the argument that you could have had Rayhan and Ishai as partners, but
I think this is I think birds are a 5 or a 6.
One thing I'll say is I think that introduction of like green into it being like as commanders is just a more recent thing in terms of them printing more commanders.
yeah,
Derevi may have only been like the only option for banned birds, but there were still plenty of green birds that you put in the deck. Not necessarily commander option, but
No,
there were quite a lot of green or green white birds, I think. Prior to
I'm struggling to think, and I didn't look that closely, but I think I would put them.
Maybe
at 6,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't mean like back in the day. I do mean more recently.
I mean,
Like,
there's a lot more now, but
Gilded Goose and
Birds
things
of
like
Paradise, Gilded
You know,
Goose.
things like
I think that
Oh
might have
yeah,
even
sorry,
been it.
I'd forgotten about
the last
Gilded
like
Goose,
few
actually.
years,
Yeah.
not as in opposed to like the
But
last few
actually,
sets, but not.
after Owlbear Cub was a recent one, but actually, I'm just flipping through. There aren't tons of green birds.
Maybe I've
There's
just got
3.
selective memory.
Yeah.
And a
More
strong bias for
recently,
Birds of Paradise.
the green birds are chocobos, but
Yeah.
outside of that, there just
So-
isn't.
Yeah, which I'm not going to count because they are brand new. Okay,
So-
no, sorry.
Do we
Blue,
reckon
white.
6?
Blue, white.
Do we reckon
6.
6?
I think 6.
Yeah? All right.
So birds have got to have got this nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the match of birds versus spiders, it is 30 for birds and 15 for spiders.
Yeah.
Doubled.
Right, dragons and slivers. This is a rough one.
Strong
Okay.
categories.
Strong category here. Yeah, I was genuinely pleased when this was thrown up by the random generator. So Dragon, your number 1 seed at 50,097 decks. Slivers at number 13 with 14,843.
I was surprised about how low slivers were, but I guess that's because people hate playing against slivers.
And there's very much not literally one way of doing it.
There
just
is one way of
they
doing
work.
it.
You include the best slivers, and that's your deck. There isn't a lot of variety, whereas dragons, a lot of ways you can play dragons, really.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so
And people love
teamwork.
dragons from outside of Magic. as
I
well.
mean,
That's
slivers are a hard 10. We can't contest that. Slivers are
We
very
can't
good.
all
contest
the most teamwork. Their entire thing is teamwork.
That's
Yes.
the entire thing.
Let's say they're a 10. They're a 10.
They're a hive.
They're
You
an 11.
can't-
They are 11, but we're going to give them a 10.
Dragons? Are dragons good at teamwork?
Dragons, I think, are an 8.
An
I
8.
don't think that they are as good. Like in terms of overall, like if we're looking at number of lords, dragons that synergize off other dragons,
Yeah,
they are
because-
not quite as good as zombies, but they are very much up there.
Yeah,
dragons
you've
that
got
make
dragon
more
shooters,
dragon
you've got
tokens
Yeah,
when one
exactly,
enters,
draw
make a
off
token. I
stuff.
think 8 is a strong place to put them. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot and quite varied support, and they've recently done the whole rooftop stormy thing, but for dragons, right?
Yeah.
Is that the right card?
Dracogenesis.
Yeah. You know, they're putting in that kind, and bloody Mox Dragon, Mox Jasper.
Mox
There's,
Jasper.
there's a broad variety of specific dragon
Yeah, dragons
like
have
keyword
always
support. So yeah,
dragons
definitely
have
high
always
eight.
had good synergy. It's just getting better.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're getting the kind of cards that only work for dragons at like a better rate than other stuff. Mox Jasper annoys me, but there you go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
even if we discount like Mox Jasper, then you've got the Teamer Dragon Orbs, Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind.
That's true.
And Jade and the blue one. But I don't think it's quite up there with zombies yet. I think I'm comfortable putting this as an 8.
Yeah. Next, we have got expected results game plan. They are
both high.
Slivers are, yeah, I'd say so. I'd say slivers are very one-dimensional, but they do it very, very well.
I think it depends on the commander you're playing for dragons as well. Like something like Mirror, I find playing against it's very consistent and quite one-dimensional.
I think dragons are pretty one-dimensional, to be quite honest, regardless of the commander.
Aren't dragons just dinosaurs with flying, kind of?
Well,
I think your expected results here, I think they are both 9.
Yeah, I agree with
very
that.
Consistent.
I think so too.
Yeah, very strong.
Okay,
because
if
you have built the only thing I might suggest is that dragons may drop a point because there is more variation in commanders.
I don't think they drop a point for that. I think again that's in their favor, if anything.
Yeah.
You're building different commanders in different ways. You build it right, it's strong.
And that's also the next kind of category, I guess, anyway, which is how well do commanders support the rest of the 99?
Well, I would argue that dragons have this.
I disagree. So I agree that there's a lot going for dragons, and I do think it's strong. But if we're saying that, I think Eminence is really strong, sure. So, but if we are saying that it's strong because you get an extra sliver, well, you've got Cascade. If it's strong because you can tutor, well, we've got Sliver Overlord. You know, we have all of that across the slivers as well. We've got pump effects in the command zone too, if we like.
You have recursion with Sliver Gravemother.
Yeah, and we've got indestructibility. I think,
isn't it?
Yeah. So I think that actually, whilst I think the one thing that slivers have going for it that dragons do not is that it's very one-dimensional in the mana cost. It's always 5. Whereas dragons are a little bit more wide-ranging. You have 5-color Dragon, or you have Teema Mirim, and then you've got 5-color Tiamat.
And well, I mean, you also have you have Ramos, Son of Dragon, and a couple of other options which possibly have fallen off the list to a certain extent.
I think supporting, if we're also being realistic on this, because slivers, their entire thing is teamwork, the commander is just very good at teamwork and therefore better than dragons at this.
So interesting numbers thing here. There are 114 legendary dragons. There are 6 legendary slivers plus 1 other commander for them, which is Recaramel Biologist.
That's true. That is very true.
I agree with you, John.
I think dragons have slivers beat across the spectrum, but I think slivers are just like the power, the support that they give it from the 99 is just better.
I do agree that everything that dragons have from the command zone, slivers also have in terms of tutoring or cheating mana costs with Cascade or whatever. But the dragon versions, I feel like, are stronger than the sliver ones. Because Eminence is just
Eminence
insane.
is strong. Eminence is insane, and that is what's
basically
making
doubling
it
down on your dragons is insane. Sign of Ur Dragon is a cheap way of getting that effect.
So this is where I might actually say that they are equal. I think that they are both 9s.
I think slivers are 10, just simply because their whole thing is teamwork, and the commanders are doing that as well.
I think.
I don't think that means they're stronger from the command zone. They definitely have good.
No,
options.
They support the 99 in. I think they support the 99 in the same way that dragons do. I don't think they're a 10 because I think that they are slightly more fragile.
Sliver Legion is a +1/+1 for each of a sliver. You know, that is insane. Yeah. That's just insane. Sliver Queen, which was the de facto, is the weakest one out of all of them, and that is still
I don't know.
viable.
I would say Sliver Gravemother is the weakest one.
The legend rule doesn't apply to slivers you control is insane. Because you can make copies of clones of all of these. That's insane. And one of the weird things you can do with Sliver Overlord, this is very niche, chat, but what you can do is use cards that I've forgotten the name, but it's a 1 and a blue enchantment, and for 1 mana you can change the creature type of another thing. and then gain control of it through Sliver Overlord. And it's not until end of turn, so once it stops being the thing, you still have it. So, there's just more there.
True,
I'm being biased here because I do have a soft spot for slivers because slivers were a big thing when I started playing Magic.
Oh, and they were when I was as well. But I think dragons for the variety of things that they can do out of the command zone to support the 99 puts them on an equal level with the slivers. I think that they are both 9, sir.
Joe, you're the tiebreaker.
What are you saying, John?
I'm saying 10. I think they are because they are the whole idea of slivers is.
No, you've already made your case.
Yeah.
What did you say for dragons?
A 9 for dragons. I agree. Dragons 9s,
okay.
but I think
dragons are getting a 9 then because you both agree. I think, and that's fair. I think. I agree the variety that dragons gives you, just having so many more options, is a point in their favour.
I mean, there are only 6 of them, but I would say those 6 are very strong.
They are all bangers. Yeah. Well, kind of.
Well, they are.
Lord and Queen and Grave Mother aren't necessarily the best. And to be honest, Legion is quite boring.
Legion is boring.
I'm going to say you're running the first Sliver or Sliver Overlord. Really?
Yeah, you kind of are.
Unless you really want to run Sliver Queen, and in which case, by all means, go for it. Yeah, exactly. You just flex in, and you've got one. It's cool.
But I think what my argument is that we're talking about support from the command zone, aren't we? Yeah, support from the command zone, and
in all the other ones,
is their entire thing is support.
In all the other ones, we have also considered how many options and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
breadth of it. We've put things down quite low because they've only had one real option.
Yeah,
and I think that again works against slivers in terms of they've got some very strong options, but they don't have a lot of choices. Whereas you can be much more flexible in the ways that you build dragons. It might not be as optimal. They might not be as good as doing just an Ur-Dragon deck, but you still can do a Verondis Dragons deck if you want.
Yeah, your flexibility is in the 99, not in the command
zone.
Zone.
I will concede that point then.
Yeah. So purely about command zone, I would say if it's between 9 or 10, I'd go 9. Okay. I'd even say less than that, but
I'd go
8. They're very strong options, but I would say 8.
Kinda with you. I'm kind of with you on that, but I think overall the power levels, because of which slivers you're running, it pushes it up to a 9.
Across the spectrum is a widely different story.
Very powerful. Like first Sliver and Sliver Overlord are wildly powerful commanders. I agree.
I think though the next point across the spectrum is wildly different. Whilst they are across all colours for slivers,
and dragons,
there are more dragons than slivers.
Yeah.
They're just
so many dragons.
They're just so many. Slivers aren't that many, really. They print them sporadically throughout things, but there is maybe 1 dragon a set on average.
Yeah, you're putting the best slivers in, and you've got a bit of choice.
But you don't really
the same as dragons. You don't really exactly.
Yeah, so
you're putting in the best slivers.
I think for across the spectrum, slivers is probably a 4, maybe less. But dragons are probably quite high.
5 color, and as you said, all of the commanders are 5 color. So you are running a 5 color deck. I think that's big. You're pretty much forced into running a 5 color deck for slivers. You're not always for dragons, but
no, that's
not the point. But I would say slivers are higher than 4.
Maybe I don't think so. I think as John said, you are probably running the same. Whilst you do have the option of variety in the 99,
you are still running,
generally not.
You're still running
running the same slivers in every sliver deck.
You just are.
I think 4.
Every sliver deck is the same.
Right.
If I looked at the first sliver now, which has got Cloud Shredder Sliver and Sliver Hive Lord and Gem Hide Sliver as the first 3 slivers that I look at. Now I'm going to look at Sliver Overlord, and they are the same. They are Gem Hide Sliver, Sliver Hive Lord, Cloud Shredder Sliver. It's the same deck. just a different commander.
Okay, cool.
Dragons, like you've got a really wide. Again, we are looking at there is a dragon printed in almost every single set. Is mostly in red, but you do get dragons across the spectrum.
You even get some weirdo ones that are like this Demir Planeswalker, which is cool.
Savitri,
yeah,
Savitri Dragon Master, yeah. Because that's coming out of the Legends card Savitri Skarzam.
Yeah. And it's cool. I like that sort of thing that you can do all of this stuff, and that has to destroy all non-dragon creatures on it. That's insane.
I think dragons are a 9.
I think dragons are a 9. I think dragons are really good.
I think dragons are a 10, but that's.
I don't think it's quite a 10.
Do you not?
I mean, maybe.
If anything's a 10, I think it's dragon for this category. I think it's dragons.
No,
there are so many of all colours. And...
The 10 here is humans.
Yeah, the 10 is humans.
well, plus shapeshifters, because obviously we said that they have access to all the.
Yeah.
No, I think dragons are a 9 because there are a couple of color combinations which you can't do in dragons.
But there is also very, very possible to do 5 color, which kind of covers that.
True, but there, like, I think because there are certain, like, for example, Orzhov dragons is not exactly is not exactly something that you can do highly because your commander is Shadril Silverquill.
Yeah,
you can't do that in shapeshifters. You can't do Orzhov shapeshifters. You've got 5 color shapeshifters, and
you can do 5 color shapeshifters, and then you've got you pull the entire Orzhov subsection. That's just,
and that will work still.
Yeah, like
I guess you can't do the dragon and then do Orzhov dragons within the shell.
Like it's very difficult to do certain color combinations in that, and I think that just gives us takes the point away.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you could do that with humans either, which was the count.
You can do humans in
any color,
in almost anything, any of the color pairings. And especially with the Universes Beyond, Universes Beyond makes it so much easier.
Yeah. Long lasting. How glass cannony are these strategies? I think dragons are maybe, I don't know, I think these are probably on par. I think they both get fairly blown out by a board wipe.
Dragons tend to be more expensive
than slivers, that's true.
Just like as a general creature.
But because slivers demand you swarm out, like once they're gone, they're pretty much gone.
You overextend.
But then you're also in black, so your recursion is because you have to be in black. Your recursion is strong.
There are slivers that out it, like ones that regenerate or give indestructible or whatever as well.
Yeah, so maybe slivers have it slightly beat on dragons, but I think they're going to be more or less the same on.
I think it's 1 point ahead for slivers.
Yeah, sure. But because of things like the regenerate one and gem hide, you just tap them all.
So do we want to go 7 and 8 or 6 and 7?
6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and that was. Let's see where we are. This is gonna be.
I'm worried for this.
I
think dragons might have got it because Sliver's got quite a low score on.
Yeah,
okay.
I think dragons, it's close, but I think dragons are gonna have it. 43.
Scored 41 out of 50. Yeah.
Oh god.
Slivers. 39 out of 50.
Wow, that is close.
I think that's fair. I genuinely do think that's fair. Dragons do edge out slivers for me.
That was a really tough category.
Yeah, that was. Next category is
wild to have that one so early.
Vampires and goblins.
Another really strong category.
Another good one. Yeah, this is really good.
Goblins.
Again, I know what my pick is.
Goblins are the 8th rank. Are the 8th rank here with 24,721 decks. Vampires are the number 4 rank with 34,863 decks at present.
Edgar Markov doing a lot of heavy lifting for
vampires.
It must be said. But there's plenty of other options for vampires, which we'll get into.
Yeah. Sure. So, teamwork. Goblins
does make
goblins.
the dream work for goblins.
It does make the
Goblins bring out more goblins and buff goblins and throw goblins at other goblins. There's a lot of goblins synergy.
Goblins, I think, are a 9 here.
I think goblins are a 9. Yeah,
there is a card that lets you put any number of goblins in any order on top of your deck. If that's not synergy for a tribal,
yeah, that's Goblin Matron, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an insane card, and it's only for goblins. So yeah, goblins are pretty good.
Yeah,
and then we've got vampires.
Vampires are strong.
Okay, they are strong.
Also, quite a lot of synergy.
There is a fair bit of synergy, but not as much as there is for goblins. There aren't actually that many vampire lords.
No.
While there are
other
there's a lot of vampire support. There are a lot of cards which say if you control this number of vampires, if you and remember, vampires also have the mesmerize to steal effect. They work well in combination. I think vampires are a 7.
I think that's fair. I genuinely think that's fair. Cool. Game plan.
Yeah.
Goblins are all aggro.
Or combo, which is aggro, I suppose, in its own way.
Vampires.
Remember, goblins do have artifact synergies as well.
There is a lot of sacrifice stuff going on with either goblin tokens or artifacts.
It does tend to be Krenko with impact tremor sort of things.
Well, I agree though that you can play like Korvold goblins.
Yeah, you can.
He is not a goblin, but you can definitely do sacrifice stuff, goblin bombardment. You can make a lot of goblin tokens very quickly, like through Krenko. But there's a variety of strategies you can use with goblins.
I think your expected results though are fairly strong, even if they are one dimensional. Like relative. I mean, one-dimensional I think is a little unfair, but I don't.
It's only the same as Slivers, I'd say, in that regard, which is dump your goblins.
It's actually worth saying that Krenko
I'd say single-minded.
Is doing a lot of heavy lifting more heavy lifting for goblins than Edgar Markov is.
Yeah,
there are way more Krenko mob boss goblin decks than Edgar Markov vampire decks, even so.
Yes, because and we'll talk about this in a cross spectrum. You are in very specific colours here.
You are very limited.
So I think the goblin payoffs and your expected strategy is probably a 7.
For vampires,
strong and consistent. Yeah, 7 sounds good.
For vampires, it's aristocracy. It's token generation and aristocrats, isn't it?
You're looking at token generation. You're looking at aristocrats. You're looking at flying.
Yeah, flying. It's a strong.
You're looking at evasions. You're looking at evasion strategy. You're looking at lifelink strategies.
You probably do have goblins beat on this one.
I think your expected. I think your expected payoff is that I think it's the same. Because whilst I think there is a greater variety, and I'm speaking as an inveterate vampire player here, I think their strategy is more inconsistent, even though it is slightly wider. I think because especially if you're looking at legendary vampires are kind of expensive. They have higher mana values than legendary goblins. You are often in. Unless you are doing mono black vampires, you are in 2, possibly even 3 color, and I think it puts them on par with goblins just because they are slightly more inconsistent, but having a wider strategy range.
Yeah. Okay.
I would subscribe to that. That sounds reasonable.
Okay, so where are we?
Goblins are very like combo, or just aggro oriented.
Yeah,
with
7 and 7.
Sacrificey stuff.
7 and 7. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I think they're both strong. So yeah.
Payoffs from the command zone.
Well, you touched on this earlier that goblins is quite restricted in what your options actually are, especially if you're looking at a goblin strategy specifically.
Yeah, if you're looking at goblins supporting goblins, then yes, you are limited. Your options from the command zone are basically Krenko and derivatives.
Yeah.
You're not really going out there. If you're playing some of the other Goblin commanders, your option in like black red, for example, is anti.
Bogwart.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give a shout out to Gut, True Soul Zealot, and Haunted one as the background, because that's a creature cares about creature type if it shares a creature.
That's fair. But when you move on to things like Shattergang Brothers or there are a few other
like
Goblins.
Grenzo, Dungeon Warden, where you take off the bottom. It doesn't care about goblins. He is a goblin. It doesn't have any synergy with goblins.
Yeah. So I think the limited factor here makes it a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Oh. So,
but purely for Krenko being an absolute bomb from the command zone. What a ridiculous card.
So 5 or 6? Like, is it 5?
I think 6 because Krenko is just stupid.
Krenko, yeah.
Like, he hits the board and suddenly there's a billion goblins in your deck. That's fine.
Whereas in terms of supporting a vampire strategy,
much wider.
I think vampires are an 8 here, because I think you're generally, if you are playing a vampire strategy, you are looking to your commander to broadly support what you are doing, and what your commander wants to do is what a lot of vampires also want to do.
And I think you can get away with mono black vampires, Orzhov vampires, Rakdos vampires.
Yeah,
you can play Veto if you want, or what's the Liberator of Mal?
Drana Liberator. Almost any of the Dranas. Almost any of the Dranas are good. And also Kalitas, Traitor of Get. The second Kalitas, something Brood Chief. The one which basically stole all your creatures when they died.
What was that?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Like, that was a bane of standard in Battle for Zendikar OGW. So yeah, that's why.
General Crete. Sorry, coming back to the goblins.
Yes, General Crete is a new one. Yeah,
that's also a valid one. Yeah.
I don't think I know General
Crete. Stuck in
it's
mono
from
red
the Jumpstart. From Jumpstart 25. Yeah,
that is a good goblin option.
Yes,
but still, much more for vampires.
Yeah,
I agree.
Cool.
Did you say 8?
8, yeah.
I'd agree.
I'm actually going to agree with that, just from the amount of different options and color combinations that you've got,
and how well the commander will support that. If
there's enough support for all of that. Vampires are broad. Yeah.
Right, across the spectrum.
Well, I guess
vampires are going to be
kind of a little bit. Vampires are very broad. Basically, the same reason that we put power from the command zone.
There
are the cards to support those commanders and all those different decks.
Yeah, I think goblins have
the width. Well, sorry, goblins have the depth because there are a lot of goblins.
So many goblins.
But there are a lot of terrible goblins.
Yeah, there are a lot of terrible. Yeah. Or they're just red. They're all red as well. But yeah,
they're red with slight forays into black and green.
In fact, there are some objectively bad goblin cards.
Genuinely is.
Yeah, not necessarily to the benefit. There are also some very good ones, but
which
why I think there are more good vampires than there are.
I think I put them on the same. I think I put this on the. I put goblins on the same level as slivers here. It's 4.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
I feel like you've got more choice in what you include in your deck with goblins.
Yeah, but they're all red.
But they are all color limited.
They are all red.
Your width is extremely narrow.
Sure. Okay, volume of cards you're going to include.
Yeah, if we're looking at this as like how deep is your card
depth
pool
and breadth. I agree. Yeah,
the depth and breadth of your
total volume.
Whereas
is probably
vampires are basically goblins plus white.
It's a wide, deep pool. For vampires.
Okay.
I think vampires are. I think vampires may actually be a 6 or a 7 here.
I'd say they are a 6.
They're at least on par with zombies.
We gave zombies a 5, but we put angels at 6. I think our value for zombies is off.
Yeah, it was the first one we did. So
I think this is more than angels for vampires, purely because it does actually work with the colours better.
Sure. Then 7, and I think we bolster zombies back up to 7.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So yeah, vampires are 7. So 4 and a 7. Resilience.
Goblins kind of get
Interesting.
blown out, right?
But again,
Well,
tokens low to the ground.
yeah, often
can-
they don't care about being blown out.
Yeah,
And
you
often
want
you
to
can rebuild
sacrifice
quickly.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's just a 5 then, because
There's
but I
some
think
graveyard
vampires are
shenanigans as
pretty
well
good at
with goblins.
recursion. And you do get a few commanders that actually recur for you as well, right?
Yeah, like I think that remember we gave dragons a 6 and slivers a 7. I think they are easily as resilient as slivers.
Maybe.
even if you are in red, you can remember red generates a lot of mana off rituals. You can get them back relatively quick, relatively easily. Yeah,
I agree with that in terms of the goblins being stickier than.
yeah.
You know, a lot of the goblins bring friends.
They are cheaper. They
Yeah.
tend to be cheaper than vampires as well. Okay, I could concede that. Yeah.
So
What are we
I
giving?
don't know about vampires. I don't know about vampires. Like you say, there's quite a lot of options. So
So
familiar
here's your good vampires are generally expensive.
Yeah.
we're talking like 4+.
We are
Yes.
talking 4+.
Yeah.
Especially if you are looking at legendary vampires, there are very few legendary vampires that are 3 or less. Like Olivia mobilized for war, Verak, the Orzhov one, Verak, and precious few others. Also, you're generally speaking, because of the historic legacy, vampires are often flying and often have another keyword, which pushes them at the 3 to 4
Just makes them more expensive.
level.
Yeah.
There are good cheap vampires, don't get me wrong. Knight of the Ebon Legion, Vampire Neonate, like Famished Paladin. Like there are a couple that you can do stupid things with, combo wise. But in terms of their overall resilience, I think vampires don't come back as quickly. Even though you are often in aristocrat strategy, but you are not looking to reanimate, or you're not actually looking to kill off your vampires. You are looking to kill off other things.
Yeah, like Blood Artist. You don't want to kill the Blood Artist.
Yeah.
You want other stuff to die.
So I'm inclined to put them at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
5 sound
also
about
agree
right?
with that. Yeah, because they
Maybe
are in
compelling
recursion
case.
colours, but they are expensive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
They're missing blue for the real.
Yeah.
there. We did get blue with Streets of New Capenna because
they were Grixis, wasn't
not Obscura,
it's
the Grixis clan, which I cannot remember.
Evelyn's the commander, but who is it?
Yeah, I forgot what the name of because it's not Maestros. Thank you.
Maestros, yeah.
The Maestros were Grixis colors, so that did add blue, but there are no mono blue vampires, for example. They're all they're all blue black.
Feel wrong.
And Ravnica gave us blue black, a couple of blue black vampires. But yeah, they're blue black or red black or some variation thereof.
Okay, right.
So presumably we are calling it after this one because this is battle number 8 and we are hitting 10 o'clock. So
yep, I think so. How many more do we have until we've gone through the first?
So it's another 8. So I think what we do
really,
part 2 is the bottom half of the bracket and then the subsequent rounds.
I can't believe we managed to talk.
We could get through it. We did spend about 40 minutes on the first one, so I'm sure we can get through the rest of the 8.
So
just not tonight.
Not next session. But...
Yeah.
Our final battle for the evening: vampires versus goblins. Vampires scored 34 out of 50.
That's healthy.
Goblins score 33. Vampires
33?
take it by
Oh my
1
God.
point.
No way.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cool. Oh, right. Well, yeah.
I think that, again, fair. Vampires just have more going on.
Yeah.
Goblins are good at what they do, but
So, that I think that will call it here. But
Yeah,
chat, just to let you know what
Yeah,
you
what
have
is-
got coming up in part 2, we have the bottom half of the bracket, which is demons versus rats, saprolings versus humans, pirates versus cats, elves versus rogues, assassins versus soldiers, wizards versus spirits, hydras versus horrors, and Mir versus merfolk.
Yeah.
Mere and mere folk.
Yeah.
And
And then
I mean, what was it? Saprolings versus
saprolings versus
Humans.
humans. I think
Humans.
that
humans are going to beat that one
that-
pretty
there are a
How dare
couple
you?
of those
How
which-
dare you?
there's a couple of those which are probably a little bit obvious, but we will see.
Oh, pirates
And-
and cats is a tough one for me.
That is
though.
a tough one. Yeah.
I have
round
both a pirate and a cat deck.
yeah, our
Right.
round 2 fights are zombies versus fairies, Phyrexians versus insects, dinosaurs versus birds,
Ooh.
and dragons versus vampires.
Dinosaurs versus birds is so
It's
funny
good-
to
it's
me.
good, yeah.
Yeah, that is really
Some
funny.
interesting ones there,
Yeah.
considering what we've talked about already. That's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Yeah,
Cool.
chat. So thank you for sticking with us. I think that was a lot of fun. I think next time I need to introduce a scene where we have also the bracket information, but I can switch to the scoring, so we can do that. So I'll try and get that done. But thank you so much for joining us on this 3-hour long talking about creature types, and we didn't even finish. It started to become a 2 out of 3 podcasts we didn't finish. That's very funny. But chat, tomorrow is our chat chaos game. Martin, Gareth, and I are joined by the friendly furball themselves, Addison, for chat chaos.
Yay.
And we are, what are the decks? I've forgotten. Oh, I'm playing I've not played Sutyu in a little while. I'll do another post about it tomorrow, but do tune in. If you haven't tuned in to Chat Chaos before, if this is your first time ever seeing our handsome faces, Chat Chaos is an opportunity where you can use Twitch channel points to interact with the game. It means that you can introduce plane chase, you can give people card draw, you can draw card, just get a token of anything from the deck. There's loads of weird ways that you can interact with the game, but it is on Twitch. We will be streaming on YouTube, but if you want to interact, you do have to be on Twitch. Unfortunately, there's no function on YouTube for you to be able to interact with the game. If YouTube ever does that, then that's a different story. And then we're into September, and we've got to talk about Spider-Man soon, and we've got Spider-Man and Spider-Man. Dude. Chat, I'm sorry, I don't care about Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man as a comic book, and just don't care about this set.
I have to say, seeing some of the legendaries that got revealed, especially yesterday, it's like
there's
I'm interested
two.
in them mechanically.
There's
But
2 villains that I liked that got spoiled, and I feel like there's something there. I'm going to do some content about it this week, but I feel like there's something there with Eddie Brock and the Great Green Goblin guy. I feel like there's something there with those 2. I don't know what it is yet.
Really?
Well, and just as
I like the Eddie Brock, Jund, that Venom is just more Jund good stuff.
well, no, what I'm interested in is it getting a 1-drop from the graveyard, and I feel like there's got to be something there, and I don't know what it is yet, but I'm sure there's something there about repeating, getting Eddie in with a 1-drop, and I'll work it out. But I'm sure there's got to be
a Gravecrawler,
not necessarily
Gravecrawler,
Gravecrawler, but something. I really hope there's a black thing that when it comes in, it exiles Eddie, and then you sack that, and then you just get Eddie back and just loop it. I don't think there is, but I hope there is, and that's what.
I like J. Jonah Jameson and the Daily Bugle.
Yes.
building.
Yeah,
They are
I really
flavorful.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got off a tangent. If you have liked this content, if you've liked watching us ramble on for a couple of hours, please do consider liking and subscribing if you're on YouTube, or following along if you're on Twitch. It really does help us get through to the algorithm, and it costs you nothing to do at all. It's like seconds of your life. And If you want to support us in any other way, we do have a Patreon and are obviously Twitch subs. Doing so get you access to the Quartermaster section. Quartermasters are the people who support us in wonderful ways, and you get access to Quartermaster on the Discord. You can workshop a Chat Chaos Redemption with me. You get access to Quartermaster on the giveaways. There's loads of good stuff, and I am trying to find additional ways to add more value to that. So also, if there's anything current QMs, if there's anything you'd like from us, please let me know, because I am open. I really want to give you more value for supporting us like we can, and we're going to try and get some community days organized soon, all of that good stuff. But you do get your name at the end of every credit reel on any stream, including these podcasts. So with all that said, thank you to our QMs. And if you are going to watch this tomorrow, it's same time at 7 p.m. BST tomorrow for some Chat Chaos. We will see you then. Thank you so much, folks. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.